What's up, guys? It's Neutral Zone here, back with our conference, rankings and kind of just breakdown series. And today we
Yep.
have the Big 12 for you. So if you're not familiar with what we're doing, we're kind of just going and breaking down every single NFL and college conference and kind of just giving you notable players, quarterback situation, coaching situation, breakout players, and what we think they're going to do in terms of their over underline, if we think they're going to have a better than predicted season, a worse than predicted season, and just kind of why we all think these things. How are you doing, man? What's up
I'm
with
doing
you?
good, bro. What'd you say?
I just said, what's up with you? Like, you doing good?
Oh, yeah. I told you off camera that I went golfing recently. That was my first time
Yep.
in like years.
I went
So that
golfing
was
today too.
fun. Dude, it's a fun sport. Now I'm
No,
terrible
it
at it, but I
is.
want to I want to
Yep.
get better at it. But yeah, I went golfing recently. But yeah, just a lot of work. So in the mornings we have opposite shifts. We've told you guys before, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to get this video going. This is a better conference than the ACC. We did the worst
Yeah.
first, so that's good. Hopefully from now on it'll be better. And we're just going to keep getting
Yeah.
better. Big Ten is next. So, but today we have the Big 12. And yeah, I'm excited, ready to get this going.
Yeah. So do you just kind of want to start how we did last time, alphabetical order? And then
Uh,
I can just kind of start, and then you can kind of talk about it
yeah,
and give our
yeah, that
predictions
sounds
like that.
perfect. That
Yeah.
sounds perfect.
So we're starting with Arizona State. Arizona State's win total was 6.5 wins. Correct me if I'm wrong, by the way. I want to make sure we're
No,
similar
you're
with
you're
that.
good right now.
Notable players for me for them, I had wide receiver Amarian Miller, the transfer from Colorado, and defensive tackle CJ Fight. Amarian Miller, man, projected first round wide receiver for a lot of people. Really,
Yeah,
really good player. I mean, we saw
for
what
sure.
happened with Tyson, literally the same exact thing in that transfer situation going from Colorado to Arizona State and then getting Hines Ward coached up and pretty
Mm-hmm.
damn good. And CJ Fight's always been a really good college defensive tackle. It seems like for a while now. Their quarterback situation is Cutter Boley is their projected starter. I
Yep.
believe he was the backup slash like halftime starter at Kentucky last year. And he has good size. I think he's like 6'5".
Mm-hmm.
He's like prototypical size, but obviously was kind of like the half starter for a reason. So I'm iffy about that. Their coach is Kenny Dillingham, who obviously orchestrated magical offenses and pretty damn good defenses throughout the years. Obviously, he was the coach when ASU went to the college football playoffs not that long ago and
Mm-hmm.
almost beat Texas. Um, and I think he's probably one of the best coaches in the Big 12. I don't know how you
Yeah.
feel about him, but I really like
Yeah.
Kenny
I would
Dillingham.
I would tend to agree.
And then my breakout player for Arizona State University is wide receiver Reed Harris, the transfer from Boston College. He went
Okay.
39 for 72. He had 673 yards and 5 touchdowns. I think being the kind of second guy behind Amarian Miller, who's going to take up a lot of attention, and being coached up by Hines Ward, I think he's already a good player. You could argue that he's already broken out, but I think that he could add on a lot of production to this style. And I think he could almost double his catches. I think he could probably add 300 to 400 yards. And then I think he could probably add 3 to 4 touchdowns on top of that. And maybe even emerge as a really big prospect in next year's
Yeah.
draft. But
Definitely.
what did you kind of think about Arizona State? Do you have any opinions on them?
Yeah, I mean Arizona State they had a pretty solid season last year for having Sam Levitt kind of be on and off injured and
Mm-hmm.
and that's definitely a big part to do with Kenny Dillingham. Great coach, like you said, one of the best in the Big 12. He always has his team performing well. They had a couple of big losses: Jordan Tyson, Maxi Onicher, both drafted
Yeah.
in the first round. Keith Abney also was drafted, and Keyshawn Elliott. So they had four guys get drafted in the 2026 class, along with losing quarterback Sam Levitt to LSU,
Mm-hmm.
and then a couple other role players and some of their starters also transferred. Like you said, they
Relief
added Cutter.
Brown, big one.
Yep. Raleek Brown to Texas. That was another big one. And then yeah, like you said, they added Cutter Boley from Kentucky. I believe is correct. I think he is
Mm-hmm.
coming from Kentucky. Added Reed Harris and Amarian Miller. Marquise Gillis is the running back they added as well. Couple DBs to fill out that room as well. And then edge Amari and Winston. So they added some good players to replace who they lost. My breakout player is a different wide receiver, actually, in Raiden Vines Bright. 6'1", 200 pounds. As a true freshman at Washington, he had 28 targets, played mostly in the slot, 87.7 drop grade with 6.2 yards after a yard yak per reception. So pretty solid after the catch, played mostly in the slot. And he was another guy they added from Washington. And then, like you said, their 6.5 wins is their win total for the year. And I kind of went back and forth on this one with losing Sam Levitt. I'm not sure about their quarterback situation. Yeah. Their DB room kind of got taken down a little bit. I do like what they did with their wide receiver room. I think they improved it a lot after losing Jordan Tyson. But after some decisions, I'm actually going to take the under. I think they're going to go under the 6.5 win mark.
Okay.
I think they're going to win 5 or 6 games this year, even though I really, really like Kenny Dillingham. I just think this is going to be a little bit down season for ASU, a little bit of a recovery season after losing, their best player in Jordan Tyson and their second best player in Sam Levitt. That's hard to come back from. So I'm going to take the under on that. If I had to, and the other thing is, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, they had a pretty difficult schedule in the Big 12. Check me on that, but
I think you're right.
Yeah, and that was the other thing that I was kind of worried about. But yeah, I'm really hoping they have a good season because ASU is one of my favorite teams outside of Wisconsin. Really like ASU after watching Jordan Tyson last year for scouting for the 2026 class. But I have my doubts about this year. We'll see, but yeah, I'm gonna say they win 6 games.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not far off. I'm a little different than you. I'm taking the over.
Okay.
I think they go 7-5. I can easily see them faltering though. I mean, their ceiling for me is 10-2. I think if everything goes right, I think if Cutter Bully plays to the system,
for sure.
I mean, man, this wide receiver room is really good.
It's a really good
wide receiver really dangerous offense. I mean, Amari and Miller and Reed Harris could both be day 1 to day 2 guys, and then if you add in your guy, I mean, even still your breakout player, the fact that your breakout player is their third wide receiver,
right?
That's like they could have a seriously good offense in that sense. I do think their floor is 4-8 though, because I mean it's hard. I like 6 to 7 wins for me is very, very likely because I think you lose so much of what your offense was last year. I mean, people they kind of had like a very versatile offense in the sense of they had a very, very good running back room, and they had a very, very good dual threat quarterback in Levitt, and then even Jeff Sims was a pretty decent rushing threat. Cutter Boley really isn't at all, and their running back room looks very bad. So you kind of like completely lose the rushing element of your offense, and that makes passing a lot harder. And I know that that's going to be a strength to them, but it's going to make their strength just a little worse. And I think just the talent on this defense also significantly decreased. I mean, I really liked Abney. I think you would have been drafted a lot higher for his size. I mean, I just feel like they lost guys like all over. Like Keyshawn Elliott's a big player. I mean, I know they still have like CJ Fight, but it just feels like kind of this entire team downgraded. And that's why I think 7-5 is fair. I still think Kenny Dillingham can take them to win
for sure
enough games. But yeah, 6-6, wouldn't be surprised. I think you're kind of looking in that 5 to 8 win range, honestly. And I think if they make a bowl game and win it, they should be happy.
I think that's a pretty successful season for the roster changes they had.
Yeah, I mean, it's just very hard to kind of rebuild after taking that big of a gut loss. It feels like that was a gut punch, this transfer portal, really, and kind of even their draft class.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting to see how they do and how good of a coach Kenny Dillingham is. But that was Arizona State. Let's move on to the other Arizona team in Arizona. So their line is 7.5 wins.
Yep.
I had their notable player as corner Javion Cole. Their quarterback is Noah Fafita, one of the longest tenured programmed quarterbacks, maybe the longest tenured. He started as a freshman at Arizona,
and he
stayed there.
Isn't he
I think he's like a 5th-year senior. Yeah. So he has been there he's been their starter for a long time. He's pretty consistently been a really, really good college quarterback. This year, he's probably almost a top 10, if not a top 10 college quarterback.
Hmm.
And especially with how he's played into this team, he's super comfortable, obviously, with everything. Brent Brennan is their coach. He's been with Fafita for a minute now. This system, that's where you have to like Arizona, is that
Hmm.
you have your guy, your quarterback, and he's very comfortable with the system.
Yep.
Um, my breakout player for them is true freshman, uh, or yes, true freshman, 4-star, 117th player, in RJ Mosley as their
Okay.
wide receiver. I think he could seriously be their wide receiver too by the end of the year. Probably not their one, but I believe he was their number one player in their recruiting class. So I think he could come in and make an immediate impact, especially if Fafita, even if he's just their three, if Fafita's slinging this thing, even if he's their three man, that could mean 400, 500 yards and a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's why he's my breakout player. But yeah, what did you think about Arizona?
Yeah, this is another team. Honestly, I was kind of going back and forth with their over under. I wasn't quite sure where to go. I was kind of leaning over, but then I don't know, something in my mind kind of clicked. I think I'm gonna go the under on 7.5 wins. I think they're gonna
Mm,
win 7 games. What I don't like about this team is how much their defensive backroom got picked apart in the draft, in the transfer portal.
yeah,
They
that's
lost a
true.
lot of guys. I do like some of the guys they replaced him with, and they do still have a solid secondary. My breakout player for them is Dalen Austin, safety from Oregon. He transferred this year. He is a senior, 6 foot 194. He had a 71.5 overall grade in 2025 on 148 snaps. I think for me, I'm kind of biased towards these guys that come from bigger schools, and like
Mm,
competitors. I just think if you are able to even play snaps on those teams, that you are a good football
for
player.
sure.
And I think Dalen Austin's going to break out a little bit. And they always have good safeties. Arizona, like last year, they had Genesis Smith
Traded
um,
Stukes.
and Trayton Stukes, and Dalton Johnson. They had 3 safeties drafted by NFL
Hmm.
teams. So I just think they're going to have to have a safety step up here. But that doesn't come without a learning curve. And I just think their secondary just got picked apart so much. They're kind of going to have to start from almost ground zero. So I don't necessarily like that very much. And then they also lost a bunch of receivers. They lost a defensive lineman and Caleb Bilal Jones. Um, Replaced those wide receivers with Jordan Ross, Rodney Gallagher, um, and then who's your breakout guy? Sorry, say his name
RJ
again.
Mosley.
RJ Mosley. So yeah, I think they did a solid job replacing the guys. I don't know, something about this team. I'm gonna go with the under. That might be a hot take because Arizona's pretty consistent and Brent Brennan has
Hmm.
been pretty solid. But I don't know. I feel like that they might falter this season. And I looked at their schedule and I thought it was solidly difficult. But yeah, I would like to hear what you have to say for their over under. I'm assuming you might take the over here. So
Yeah, man. I kind of like we're disagreeing. We had a lot of
mhm.
agreements in
We did in the ACC video,
the
yeah.
ACC video, but we're still on the same page. We see them very similarly. So you had them what, 7-5? Yeah,
Seven and
I'm
five. Yep.
taking 8-4.
Okay.
I have them winning over 7.5. I do have them taking the over. This is a team that I just trust Fafita. I think
Hmm.
they can get that. I think they can get that win total. I like Brennan. Yes, I think their secondary got picked apart, but one of your best players, if not your best player, Javion Cole, is still going to lock down one of that corner positions for you. And I overall just think, this conference is weak enough. I think their schedule's favorable enough where I think they can win 8 games. I think their ceiling's 10-2. I think they face um, Tech, which they probably lose to, and then they probably just drop a game. I think that's probably their ceiling with Fafita if he's on fire. I
Hmm.
unfortunately just think that they won't be as much of a threat as they were with T-Mac,
Yeah.
because they just don't have a wide receiver threat right now. And maybe one
Hmm.
emerges, but they just don't have one that's like a top 10 wide receiver in the draft like that.
Right.
I think if they did have a number one option like that for Fafita, then I think they could click and become a really dangerous offense, but they just don't. And I just think with the experience in the coaching room and in the quarterback room, I think their floor is 6-6. I think they're going to a bowl game kind of no matter what.
Hmm.
Um, but they're definitely a team that it feels like they're very well built overall, but they lack a lot of star power to kind of maybe be at the top of this conference that
For
some of these other
sure.
teams have. So, yeah, I am taking the over though. I like that we're already conflicted on the
Hey,
first
yeah, two
two,
in a row. Yeah. I don't think we're gonna
and
be
unless you
conflicted
have
on the next one, but maybe
maybe.
we'll see.
The next one then would be BYU.
All right.
whose win total is 8.5. That is their line. And I had
Yep.
notable players for them. Running back LJ Martin, who I
Mm-hmm.
thought had top 15 potential.
Yep.
One of my favorite running backs. He was in our running back videos. Center Bruce Mitchell, who'd probably be the top center for us, or at least one of them. I have Evan Johnson as well. Linebacker Isaiah Glasker.
Mm-hmm.
They have pretty solid players overall, honestly. Their quarterback is, I believe, true sophomore, Bear Bachmeyer, who started as
Yep.
a true freshman, former 3-star, and
Mm-hmm.
honestly led them to a really, really good, surprising season last year because a lot of people
For
thought they were
sure.
kind of screwed with this situation. And then their coach, Kalani Sitake, I think is probably a top 10 coach in college football, man. He has this team pretty consistently right. It seems like even with horrible situations, and you would think they wouldn't be able to recruit that well and get some of the top talent with their rules and also their location. They still consistently produce some pretty top tier
Yeah.
talent, it feels like. And I
Absolutely.
know they even signed, I believe he's on a mission, but they signed 5-star quarterback Ryder Lyons,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I believe. So,
And his brother's
they
on the team
still
as
get
well.
their, yeah, Walker Lyons, the
Walker.
tight end transfer from USC.
Yep.
They still get guys, man. And my breakout player is linebacker Cade Ulave, the transfer from Cal.
Yep.
He was pretty productive for them, but I think him playing alongside Glasker, who's kind of like an experienced guy in the system, I think he can rack up a lot of stats. I think he could be really good. And he was already pretty decent at Cal, but it feels like BYU often kind of has a little bit of not a code, but like they know what they're doing when it comes to producing linebackers.
Yeah,
It feels like they always
definitely.
have pretty consistently good linebackers. I mean, obviously, the best linebacker in the NFL right now came from there. Glasker's already a pretty decent one, so it seems like they know their
Edgerrin
stuff.
Cooper didn't come
And
from BYU.
oh,
Sorry,
you're right.
sorry.
Must have messed that up. But yeah, what did you think about BYU, man? Because obviously, it seems like you think we think the same thing about them. So
Maybe
good,
maybe I'll be
bad?
surprised by you, but I really like
Break it
BYU
down
again.
for me.
I really don't think a ton changed from last year. I think Bachmeyer just got older, and I think he's going to continue to progress and get better. Coming off a good freshman season where he started, like you said, full time. Like you said, Kalani Sitake is an awesome coach. This is his 11th season, and I just think that he's gonna continue to have BYU be a top dog in the Big 12. They added in some good wide receiver depth. Kyler Casper, Legend Glasker. They added tight ends Walker Lyons and Roger Saliapega II. Also, QB Enoch Watson is a true freshman recruit for some depth there. And then, like you said, linebacker Cade Uluave. And then Jake Clifton as well at the linebacker position they added. Granted, they did lose a bit. They lost their defensive coordinator in Jay Hill this offseason. They also lost linebacker Jack Kelly in the draft, wide receiver Chase Roberts, tight end Carson Ryan, a few other role-playing guys. So they did lose a little bit, but in my opinion, other than like Jack Kelly and maybe Chase Roberts, like they didn't really lose like huge role players. And like you said, if Cade Uluave fills in for Jack Kelly, I don't think that will be a big loss for them. And honestly, BYU, I think they should rely on LJ Martin this year. So the receiving game is not a huge deal for me, but Bachmeyer is going to do fine with whatever wide receiver he has. My breakout player is I'm gonna butcher his name, bro. I'm actually gonna butcher his name.
They have a lot of Polynesians, bro. So
Falatau Satuala, the safety.
oh, their safety?
Yeah, I don't know if you can even qualify him as a breakout because he had a pretty good season last year.
I was gonna say, I think he's a lot of people's top 5 or 10 safeties.
I was going to say he's a breakout for me because actually, after watching him, I think he might be a top 3 or 4 safety in this class for me.
Okay.
If he plays well. I really, really like him. 6'4", 215 pounds, 81.6 overall grade in 2025, 86.9 tackle grade, 84.9 coverage grade. The list goes on. So not necessarily a breakout as in, getting playing time.
No, but you think he can break out to be elite.
I think he can break out at the national level, be elite. I think he could be potentially a high second-round draft pick in this class. He's
Yeah, that'd be a
I'm
breakout for
I'm
sure.
I'm really high on him. So Falatau Satuala is his. I'm gonna get
I
better at
believe
saying
you're.
his name.
Yeah.
Because I like this guy. So he's my breakout. And then for their over under 8.5 wins is their line. I'm gonna take the over. I think they're gonna win 9 or 10. I like this
Hmm.
BYU squad. I don't think they really got worse, and if anything, I think they got better. And Satake is going to be
Mm.
is going to keep them up where they were last season. I don't really have any doubts with this team. I'm going to take the over.
Yeah. So I'm with you. I've been going 9-3. I'm gonna take that over. I feel like I'm a little lower on them. I don't think they're. My biggest thing for them is I think their defense is good. I think their O line's good. I think they're going to be a very, very dangerous rushing threat. I mean, L.J.
Mm-hmm.
Martin and Bear Bachmeyer, just
Absolutely.
alone, those two are going to wreck havoc.
Well, yeah,
There's
that's the
no
other thing.
reason
Bear's a
neither.
good
Both
rusher too.
both of them are going to get better,
Mm-hmm.
and I just feel like with the fact that both of them their run option game is just going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. But my biggest thing is I kind of look at this receiving core. I just hope that if they fall behind in a game where they're forced to pass, I think Bachmeyer is not comfortable passing. I don't think he's as a good of a passer as maybe he's giving credit for. I don't know if he's giving credit for it, but
Mm-hmm.
on top of the fact that they don't really have a number one option. Like
Yeah.
Walker Lyons is kind of their best guy, and he's even still like I kind of look at the receiver room and I'm like, if they need to kind of play quick, they need to play tempo, they need to throw down the field. If they need to throw deep down the field, I think they're
Mm-hmm.
kind of screwed. So I mean, the thing with BYU is I think you hear 9-3, you're like, no, you still think they're good, obviously, but I'm like, I feel like they're kind of looked at as maybe like contenders for this conference, and I think they're kind of the tier below it. I mean, their
Okay.
ceiling is definitely 11-1. I believe they face Tech, and I don't think they beat Tech.
I don't either.
But I think their floor is 7-5, man. I think they could almost go 6-6. I mean, like I said, they more likely go 9-3. I think the coaching's too good. I think the running game and just overall threat is too good. But for me, it's like all it takes is for them to open a few games bad, and if they can't throw the ball, I think this receiver room is really like they need one or two guys to step up massively, and I don't really see it.
Yeah.
Maybe you would kind of hope maybe they usually get some big recruits in or big enough transfers in, but I just don't think they have a threat. At least they did last year. And I mean, Bachmeyer hopefully develops as a passer, but I think they could be a lot worse than people think. But even after that, I'm still taking the over. I do think
Yeah.
that they
That's
will
fair.
at least win 9 games.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I guess I'm just a little lower on them than I think probably the average person, which is weird because I still have them taking the over. It feels like that line's a little low. I would have probably set it at nine and a half.
I kind of felt like eight and a
But
half was kind of disrespectful, but
yeah, maybe they think the same thing I do. Who
maybe.
knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on from BYU, we have Baylor, and their line is 6.5 wins. Notable players it's the same as their quarterback. It's just their quarterback. He's top transfer player in the transfer portal. I don't necessarily agree, but
I don't either, but
he's a really, really big name player, so that's why it's DJ Lagway, the transfer from
yep.
Florida, who I believe was like I think a top 5 recruit, super super high rated quarterback. I think he was the number 1 quarterback in like the 2024 class, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that.
Obviously didn't really work out at Florida. That's why he transferred to Baylor. Coach Dave Aranda is a very very bipolar coach. Honestly, it feels like he's on the hot seat right now. If they don't go 6-6 and win a bowl game, I think he's gone.
Yeah.
But it feels like I think he's been here for like 8 or 9 years or
This is his
something.
7th
Like,
year.
okay, he's been there for a minute though, and it feels like they're kind of just hot and cold at Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's an interesting situation. And then my breakout player for them is running back Dawson Pendergrass.
Okay.
Um, I kind of so he did not play at all in 2025 due to injury, but in 2024 he had 671 yards for 5.5 yards per carry, 6 touchdowns, 1 fumble, and a 79 PFF grade. And I watched this guy. I forget. I think I was watching maybe like Travis Hunter tape, but I think Colorado played Baylor in 2024, and this guy went off for like 100 something, like
Well,
70, 80
wasn't that the
yards or
game
some
that like
crazy
Colorado
shit.
they like went to OT and it was like a crazy game?
May Maybe, but Pendergrass had a really, really big game that I ended up watching in 2024, and I kind of like just watched a little bit more of him. I think he's really, really good. He's projected to be the lead running back this year. I think they're going to rely on the running back game. At least they need to kind of ease it up for Lagway.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he could be in for a really, really big year, assuming he comes back good from injury.
Right.
But what did you think about Baylor?
Yeah, I mean, of these first four teams we've talked about, they kind of fall on the side of I'm a little bit lower on them than the line of 6.5. I think that's a little bit rich for me for this team. Like you said, they brought in DJ Lagway. I don't really think that highly of him. He
Yeah.
wasn't that great at Florida. Maybe he'll come to a worse conference and he'll be better, but I'll believe it when I see it. I don't know. He's just fine to me. In the draft, they lost D lineman Jackie Marshall, wide receiver Josh
Mm-hmm.
Cameron. They lost their star tight end Michael Trigg.
Yep.
And then they also lost safeties Mason Dossett and Carl Williams IV. They lost edge Amarian Winston, who went to, we were just talking about, Arizona State. And then they also lost RB Bryson Washington, and then a few
Yeah,
other
that's
role playing
huge.
guys. They lost a lot of guys to the transfer portal and the draft. And then they replaced some of those guys with like DJ Lagway, tight end Tony Livingston, couple offensive linemen, couple wide receivers, couple defensive backs. Like it's fine to me. I just don't think they got better, and they were already 5-7.
Yeah.
And they were so bipolar. I don't know. I just don't really trust them, especially with the schedule they were given. I'm gonna go under the 6.5 win total. I think they win 5 games again. I'm not that big on them. Maybe even 4. I wouldn't be surprised. Not huge on Baylor, but then for their breakout player, I'm going to take guard Nate Kibble. He's a redshirt freshman, and he played 38 snaps as a true freshman at Texas last year and allowed no pressures, sacks, or hurries. He had an 80.3 pass block grade, and he is 6'3", 321 pounds. I just like his build. He didn't play a lot at Texas, but Texas is a top dog school, and he got 38 snaps. I don't know if it was dead, like if it was
Well,
a. Go ahead.
do you remember? He had to be a pretty big recruit. If as
He,
a true freshman, he was the next guy up at Texas, he had to have been
yeah,
either a high four
I,
star or a 5 star.
I think he was. I don't have it written down. If you want to,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. But
DJ Kibble, you said?
Nate Kibble.
Oh, Nate Kibble. I don't know.
But yeah, he played only 38 snaps, and granted, that might have been in a time when Texas wasn't down or Texas was in a pretty good spot. But still, he didn't allow any pressure, sacks, or hurries. I like what I saw there, and I expect him to be one of the better players that Baylor added in the transfer portal.
Yeah, he was a 4 star, 458th player.
Okay, yeah, that makes
So
sense. Solid recruit.
still pretty high recruit. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, my
Um,
breakout player is Nate Kibble, guard.
I like it. I like it. I think they're gonna need somebody to step up on that line.
Yeah, for
Um,
for Lagway.
yeah. My thing with Baylor is, man, it really relies on Lagway, and
Yeah,
I'll say this about him: all the talent in the world. One of the
for
guys where
sure.
if you watch his top 20 plays, you're like, this guy's going first overall in the draft. But then you watch the rest of his tape, and it's just like, oh yeah, you're throwing 5 interceptions against LSU. Like
Right.
we can't have that. But I will say for him, I think this is actually a really good situation for him.
Hmm.
I mean, you look at Sawyer Robertson last year; he's kind of like a loose cannon guy, just throwing it all over the fucking field and really threatening tight
Yeah, that's
windows. And
true.
it's like, dude, it. I mean, I know he wasn't like a big draft guy, but like you don't need him to be a big draft guy. You just need him to work within the system. And
Right.
I mean, my only thing is that I'm kind of worried about who his top target is. It doesn't really feel like he has one.
Yeah.
But if someone emerges, I mean, I look at Sawyer
I mean,
Robertson and I'm like, well, DJ Legway's way more talented.
yeah. I mean, they brought in Draylon Miller from Colorado. I mean, he was pretty solid.
Was he? And he was
Um,
productive.
he
So
was
maybe it
solidly
will be
productive.
him. But like I just think like there's actually a world where he could play really good.
Yeah.
I am taking the under though. Still, I have them going six
Mm,
and six. I view them a
okay.
little more higher than you, I guess. Not that much, still going 6 and 6, and I think
Mm,
their schedule's actually not even that bad. For me, their ceiling's 8 and 4, and I know you're like, that's weird. I thought you just said that there's a world where DJ Legway is really good in the system. Yeah, I just think their defense is going to be really bad, to be
yeah.
honest. And I don't really like, even if Legway works out and they do have a top target, like this is a lot of ifs already, and then it's like I think best case scenario, their defense is just like average, and that's still like
Mm,
8 and 4 because I think they're like I think they play BYU and Tech, and it's like those are two losses, and I think they play like an out of conference game against Auburn. They're
yeah.
not winning that, I doubt. So it's like, yeah, and then my floor is 3 and 9 for them. And there's a lot of variance with this team, but it's like if Lagway sucks, they have like a few free wins, I think. But outside of that, it's like they're probably going to lose to like everybody in the Big 12 they play if Lagway
Mm,
sucks. I mean, it's kind of all reliant on him.
yeah.
I mean, their offense will run through him. Pendergrass can be fine, but it's like the fact that that's the guy that you are secondly relying on. And he did not play a
Right.
single snap last year. It's like
Right.
it's questionable, man. So yeah, I totally get it. I'm taking the under with you, and yeah, DJ Lagway though, it will be fun to watch Baylor's progression
No, for
because of
sure.
that.
I
I
I
mean,
would
he's
really
still
like
DJ
to
Lagway at
see
the end of the
DJ
day.
Lagway improve on his game. That would be cool to
Because
see.
man, that arm, it's
He's got a
crazy. You
great
don't see
arm.
guys like that, bro.
Yeah.
It's such a shame when they don't work out because you're like,
No, I
dude,
know.
those guys are already so rare, and then when they don't work
Mhm.
out, you're like, oh, if only they maybe went to a better school or something,
Right.
maybe it could have worked out.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I guess moving on from Baylor, we have the Cincinnati Bearcats next.
Yep.
Their line is set at 5.5 wins.
Mhm.
My notable players for them are probably gonna butcher this name. Guard Evan Tengisdal.
Mhm.
Uh, I think he might be the best run blocking guard in the country. I know a
He's
lot of
really
people
good.
have
Yeah.
him as a top 1 or 2 guard in the country, so really, really good. And then safety Antoine Peak. Their quarterback is J.C. French. He is the transfer quarterback from Georgia Southern.
Yep.
I believe he was at Georgia Southern for 3 years, and in 2025, this most recent season, he had a little under 3,000 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions with a 65.4 grade. And then as a rusher, he had 446 rushing yards, 6 rushing touchdowns, and 5 fumbles.
Mhm.
Their coach Scott Satterfield, I actually kind of like him. It feels like he
Yeah.
puts together a consistent squad for them being like Cincinnati. I mean, like
Mhm.
they finished in the top 25 rankings last year. I think a lot of that was probably Sorsby to be fair, but like it feels like they
Yeah.
can pretty consistently have like NFL guys. I mean, they had a really good receiving core last year. I know a lot
They
of them didn't
did.
get drafted high, but like for college, it was really good. I mean, you have
Yeah.
guys like Dante Corleone. You pretty consistently have guys over that defense that seem to be drafted.
Yeah. Jay Golday, Viking,
So
second rounder.
yeah, Golday, right? Exactly. I mean, I'm not really like stoked about him, but like
Hey,
still, I mean,
he
he
got
was a
drafted
good.
in the second round, man.
That's that. God, don't remind me. But yeah, my breakout player for them is 2025 4-star running back Zion Johnson. Last year he had
Okay.
106 yards, 4.8 yards per carry, a touchdown, 67.4 grade. I think he probably projects as a very, very productive running back for them, and probably either their one, if not their two. So I think he's probably gonna triple, quadruple his production, and probably be one of their better offensive players. But what did you think about the Bearcats?
Yeah, I mean, last season they were pretty solid. They ended 7-6 after their bowl game. Not a bad season at all. Brendan Sorsby was one of the better quarterbacks in the country. 86.6 team grade on PFF. So I actually think they probably could have had a better record than what they had in the end of the season. But yeah, they lost a lot of players, and that's one of the reasons why I'm a little bit lower on them. This year, they lost Jake Olday, Joe Royer, Cyrus Allen. I mean, their wide receiver room got picked apart.
Jeff Caldwell.
Jeff Caldwell went to the Chiefs as a UDFA. And then I'm just going to list their receivers that they lost. They lost Tony Johnson, Noah Jennings, Barry Jackson, Jeff Caldwell, Caleb Goodall, Cyrus Allen, Jeff Caldwell. I mean, they lost everyone, along with losing Brendan Sorsby. That is the main reason I'm taking the under on them this year at 5.5. You lose your starting quarterback and 5 of your starting receivers.
Your entire receiving core, yeah.
Your entire receiving core is gone. Your quarterback is gone. Maybe J.C.
Tight
French.
end's gone.
Your
Royer
tight
was
end
good,
is gone,
too.
and Joe Royer.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, your entire offensive production is just gone like that. And like
Yeah.
you and me both super high on Brendan Sorsby. I think he
Hmm.
carried that team to a higher level than they maybe would have without him. And maybe J.C. French will be a solid quarterback, but I just don't see it with the receiver core that they have. Granted, my breakout player for them is wide receiver J.V. Gibson from Arkansas Pine Bluff. He is 6'2",
And they need him to
208.
break out.
Yeah, they do need him to break out. But he well actually this last year he was at Oklahoma. Had a bit of a down year, but the year before he was a true freshman at Arkansas Pine Bluff and averaged 17.3 yards per catch and had 70 receptions for 1,200 yards and 9
Wow.
touchdowns.
Okay.
But yeah, at Oklahoma this last year had a bit of a down year, and I say a bit, but it was a pretty big down year. I don't know if he was injured or if he just didn't get playing time. But he transferred to Cincinnati this season. Good size, put up good production as a freshman at a really, really small D1. So I'm hoping he can break out a little bit for Cincy. And he is currently listed as the X wide receiver for them. So he would be their wide receiver 1 for J.C. French. So it'll be interesting to watch him. But other than him, in my opinion, the receiver core, and even with him, I just don't know. Like, this is kind of a guess for me. And then you add in a new quarterback to a new system. I'm just not super excited with what I see for Cincinnati. I'm going to take the
Yeah.
under on 5.5 wins. Granted, I don't think they're going to go much lower than 5 wins. I don't
Hmm.
think they're going to go to 3. I think the lowest I'd put them at is 4. I think they're going to win 5 games. Just go a little bit under that projection. And this is just another team that I add to my list where it's like of these Big 12 teams we were starting with, where it's like I don't really think they're going to be that great. Like this,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they'll surprise me, and I could definitely see it if they have some breakouts in the receiver room. If J.C. French is more solid than I think, but we'll see. I'm interested to watch, but I'm also interested to hear what you have to say.
I mean, we like literally view them the exact same way.
Okay.
I, I have them going under. I have them going 5-7,
Okay.
but I don't think their floor is any worse than 4-8. Like this
Yeah.
is exactly what I have
Yeah.
written down. I think their ceiling's 8-4. The reason I'm taking the under though is there is a world where JC French breaks out and
Yeah.
their lines actually have a really good O line and they're running like Zion Johnson is a really key player for them and maybe someone else emerges too to get production for them. But I think French at Georgia Southern already didn't really put up that good of stats. I mean, under 3,000 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, 8 interceptions for a
Mm,
65.4 grade at
yeah.
Georgia
That was kind of my
Southern.
other thing.
And I mean, like as a rusher, he's productive, but 6
Mm-hmm.
touchdowns and then 5 fumbles. It's like, dude, you have to expect the touchdowns to go down and the interceptions and fumbles to go up, and they're already
Right.
not that good. And then your receiving core is trash.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So yeah, I'm taking the under 5-7. I feel like is fair. I think they have a pretty rough schedule too. I think they face
I
almost all of
yeah.
the top dogs in the Big
Yeah.
12. So I mean, if they win it, if they go to a bowl game this year, I think that'd be good for them. They'd be hitting over their line.
For sure.
But man, I just feel like you have to focus on rebuilding this offense, get some receivers in. I don't think you can build around French for that much longer because I think he's already had 3 years of eligibility on. So maybe try and get another quarterback in
This
here.
might be his last
But
season. Yeah.
yeah, they lost a lot of guys, so
Mm-hmm.
they just got to rebuild. If they do bad this year, I mean, I'm not surprised, and that's why I'm taking their under. So
Yeah. Yep.
yeah. Um, moving on to Colorado, the Buffs, one of the most polarizing teams in college
For sure.
football. It feels
For
like
sure.
because of their coach Deion Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
Notable players for them. It's really just their quarterback for me in Julian Juju Lewis,
Mm-hmm.
who was really, really big recruit for them. I believe he was a 5-star on most sites, maybe a high 4-star on others. And I
Yep.
think he started like 3 games last year. I don't think it was enough though, because I think he redshirted. I think he's a redshirt freshman this year. So
Mm-hmm.
Juju Lewis is their quarterback. Yeah, like I said, Coach Deion Sanders, obviously. Who doesn't know Deion Sanders at this point?
Oh, absolutely.
Colorado
Yeah.
was very, very, very forgettable in terms of, I mean, they were one of the worst Power 4 teams, if not the worst Power 4 teams. They would pretty much consistently win 1, 2, or 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they had that really, really, not really, really good year, but for them, really, really good year with Shadur and Travis Hunter and, other guys like LeJontay Wester and Jimmy Horn and all that.
Yeah.
Who was the one that went to the Packers? Will Shepard.
Will Shepard. Yep. Will
Um,
Shepard.
that was a good receiving core. I kind of like a lot of their guys there, but now they've had a lot of transfers out. I mean, just off the top of my head, like Jordan Seaton, man,
Jordan Seaton,
that's a
yep.
big loss.
Amarian Miller.
Amari and Miller, man, it feels like they just get picked apart in their receiving core every year. I mean, this is the same team that lost Jordan Tyson. And Deion Sanders, man, like I think he's a good coach. He's definitely a personality.
Yeah, definitely.
He says some things I don't agree with, but obviously led them to their really, really good season. So it's kind of hard to hate when Colorado's not relevant. But he's going through health issues, man. He missed a lot of last seasons due to like kidney failure or something like that, or liver
like
failure.
Not great, yeah.
And his health is just. I think it's hard for him to coach a full season, to be honest. It's a very mentally exhausting thing to do, and when you're as old as him and he's had so much surgeries through his years, it's hard to really even predict if he's going to be the coach most of the season. But after all that, I have a few breakout players for them. I'll hone in on one guy specifically, but there's a few guys I want to shout out just because for some reason they landed like 3 guys in the portal that I all really like.
Okay.
So I'm like, I needed to shout out all this.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
they landed,
go for it,
linebacker Gideon ESPN Lamprone. He was one of the highest rated. That's his middle name. It's ESPN, I think.
Really?
Like legitimately. Yes. Like
what the hell?
Yes. Yeah, but this dude's good as hell. I have known about him for a year and a half now because at Bowling Green, I believe he was like the highest graded linebacker on PFF. He had like a 94 grade on PFF. And he was insanely productive, man. He was all over the field. And he transfers to Colorado. Defensive tackle Ezra Christensen from New Mexico State. He was New Mexico State's highest rated player on PFF last year. I've known about him for a year and a half. Super, super good pass rushing defensive tackle, I believe. He had like 30 plus pressures or something and was really, really productive for New Mexico State. I think he had like an 87 or an 88 PFF grade. Somebody who I kind of went under the rug. Under the rug? Is that right? No.
Yeah, swept under the rug.
Swept under the rug, yeah. He, I believe, is kind of going through like eligibility issues right now. I think he's trying to argue for his 5th year, and I think it's still up in the air. I haven't heard any news on it. So he might not play for them this year. But if he does, I think he'll, really, really good player for them. Probably maybe their best D lineman. And then running back Richard Young, the transfer from Alabama, who is just kind of buried.
Yep.
I think he probably predicts as their starting running back, which isn't saying much. I mean, Richard Young never really had a ton of production for Bama, but was obviously still a guy that I think was good enough, just kind of buried. And Colorado has had a horrible running game for like literally ever. It's the reason they've been bad, like virtually every season for like at least the last 3-4 seasons. So hopefully he can finally add some spark to this room and kind of be the guy who gets a lot more looks and just carries overall. And I would say, like, if I had to hone in on somebody, it's Gideon Lamprone. I think he could probably break out to be a really, really productive linebacker for them.
Nice.
But what did you think about Colorado?
Yeah, I think they're going to be the worst team in the Big 12. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I have them. I have their ceiling.
Oh man, that's funny.
I have their ceiling at 2 wins.
Their ceiling?
Yeah.
At 2?
I'm looking at their schedule, bro. I honestly think they go. I honestly think they go 1-11. I think they win against Weber State and they lose every other game on this schedule. This schedule is not easy. Like in the slightest.
It's not. Let me look it up again.
Dude, they don't beat Georgia Tech. They don't beat Northwest. They maybe beat Northwestern. They don't beat Baylor.
They play all the hardest Big
12
teams.
They don't play Tech. They don't play Utah. Or they don't beat Utah. They don't beat Oklahoma State, in my opinion. They don't beat K-State. They don't beat Arizona State. They don't beat Houston. Like, dude, I don't know, bro. I think they might go 1-11 here. So for that reason,
they actually might, bro.
For that reason, I'm taking the under on 4.5 because there's no way in hell, in my opinion, that they go over that. And this is no disrespect to Colorado. Their schedule is hard.
Disrespectful, bro.
Okay. Maybe
their ceiling is 2-10.
Okay, maybe their ceiling's 3-9. But like,
I'm not even hating. I'm just saying you can't be like, no disrespect, bro, but they're garbage. They're the worst Big 12 team by far.
Bro, I don't see it, bro. And like you said, if Deion is not like coaching regularly, like they're gonna have some rando coaching.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, bro. And they lost dude. If you go onto their depth chart right now, their entire defense is new players. The entire defense. They
Yeah.
have no carryover. Their offense is pretty much the same. They literally carried over
Hmm.
almost no players from last year, and last year they were 3-9. Like
Oh my God.
like, and
I
I'm not trying to be hating, bro, but like I don't see it, bro. I don't see it at all.
yeah. So 4.5 that's a crazy
That
line.
is a crazy line to me.
I think they go under 2. I'm
Yeah.
not as low as you. I still think they're gonna be bad though. I have them going 3-9. I
Okay.
think obviously they beat Weber. I think it's a close game with Baylor. I think it's could be a close game with K-State. And then I think they could probably win one of UCF or Cincinnati. I don't really love either of those two teams, to be
Okay.
honest.
That's
Um,
valid.
Juju Lewis is like he's still really talented. I think he could provide some spark. I know you're like, oh, their entire defense is flipped over. I actually I think it got like better though.
Okay.
Like, yes, it's flipped
Yeah.
over and there's no continuity, but like adding a guy like Ezra Christensen, Gideon Lamprin, I think they added a pretty decent DB. I think so, but like it's new, but I think it's all guys that are like they have potential to be better. But bro, I see it. My floor for them is 1-11. Like I'm
Yeah.
right there with you. I think they probably win. Like I said, I think going 3-9, still under. I think the very very best. The ceiling is 7-5, and it's simply because I think the defense has a high enough floor, and I think Julian Lewis could be good enough where like I could see them then beating the Oklahoma States, the
Mhm.
Northwesterns, the Arizona States, and then it's like all it would take is you to also beat the worst teams like Cincy, UCF, Baylor,
Mhm.
and it's like it's possible for me. But I agree. I
Yeah.
think it's much more likely they go 3-9.
Oh, also, I
Yeah,
didn't I
they.
didn't do my breakout player. I was really
Oh yeah,
looking
yeah.
I was really looking for something positive in this team, like a future kind of player who would be there for a while. And
Yeah.
I think my breakout player is going to be Carson Crawford, linebacker. He's a freshman recruit.
Okay.
He is a 4-star, 10th linebacker in the 2026 class nationally. He is from Texas, so that adds it on to me because that's a very good state for recruits. 6'4", 220 pounds. He's 19 years old. I just really liked his size. I liked his build. I liked how high of a recruit he's ranked, and I think he could potentially see starting snaps on the squad. But yeah, Carson Crawford, linebacker. I know we both had linebackers, but yeah, I was just looking for something that like is future oriented for this team because I was like, wow, this is not
Yeah.
looking very a good outlook for them for
Hey,
me. But
I got a buddy that goes to Colorado, man, and he was disappointed with last year.
oh
I don't know how to
no,
tell it to him because
yeah, don't send him this clip, bro.
he asked me last year. He was like, "What do you think, man?" And I was like, "Oh no, they actually have like some decent guys. Like they have DJ McKinney in the slot. I mean, they have
Mm.
probably one of the best OM in." And now I'm like, I'm just gonna like,
Oh,
how do I tell
Jordan
him?
Seaton leaving was the nail in the coffin.
Oh god, that was bad. Yeah, and Amarion, man, holy.
Oh yeah, dude.
But
Oh.
I will say, my prediction 3-9 is tied for the worst. So my prediction for them, like what I think is tied for the worst, they aren't the worst. There's another team I think is equally as
Okay.
bad. But their floor, the second lowest floor I have is 2-10. No one else floor is 1-11. So if you
Okay.
do look at floor, they are by like metrics the worst team in the Big 12, in my opinion.
Okay.
So yeah, I am right there with you. Um, but moving on from this
This very sad conversation.
breakdown. Yeah, let's talk about Houston, who's very, very different, probably
Yeah.
from going from the bottom of the conference to the top. Their line
Hmm.
is 8.5 wins.
Yeah.
Notable players for them is wide receiver Amari Thomas, who's honestly probably the best wide receiver in the Big 12. I
Hmm.
mean, he's really damn good, really productive. And then corner Will James. Their corner is Connor Wigman, former really, really big recruit out of A&M, I believe, and didn't really go so well there. So he transfers to Houston, and in his first year, looked pretty decent, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of hope for them because even if he kind of fails, which I mean, you have to think he would improve because he looked pretty good last year. They have
Right.
true 5-star true freshman quarterback Keyshawn Henderson from
Yeah.
Houston,
Yep.
hometown kid, who I think he was the number one quarterback on a lot of sites. So their future at quarterback is pretty damn bright. You would think for the next 4 to 5 years.
for sure.
Um, and that's kind of because of their coach, Willie Fritz, who,
Yeah,
man, he's a really,
great
really good
coach.
coach. It seems
Great
like
coach.
he understands talent development. It seems like he's a really, really good recruiter. It seems like he's really, really good in the portal. And it seems like that's why Houston's kind of on the up. They've been a
Mm-hmm.
pretty decent team, it feels like. They've landed some big names in the transfer portal, in just recruiting, and it feels like they're now competing for this conference title kind of because of that. I
Yeah.
really like Willie Fritz. And my breakout player is once again, hard to say if he's a breakout player, but he was like a really, really high portal guy. Guard Shadre Hurst.
Okay.
Um, transfer from Tulane. He was another guy who I was just kind of scrolling through PFF Gauge trying to get names on some sleepers. And last year I was going just through every team. And top of the team for Tulane was him. And he's kind of been on my mental list, a physical list I have for about a year and a half. And seeing him transfer to Houston, I really, really like
Yeah,
because
for
Houston's O
sure.
line was horrible last year. And the number one
They
reason
need
that
it.
they kind of stunk was their O line. So I know Shadre Hurst was not the only transfer O lineman they got. They got a lot of others. It feels like
Yeah,
they kind
Drew
of,
Terrell. Yep. Yeah.
yeah, rebuilt their whole line,
Yeah.
which is really
Which they
nice
needed
because,
to.
man, if Wigman looked good last year, I think that he's going to be a lot more comfortable this
Yes.
year. So yeah, what did you think about Houston?
I'm a big fan. Yeah, I like Willie Fritz. I think he's a great coach. Last season, like you said, their O line was not great, and they still went 9-3 in the regular season. Like,
Mm-hmm.
great season. Connor Weigman, I think, is an awesome quarterback. And then they also bring in the 5 star as well. I forget his name. You just said it.
Keyshawn
Um,
Henderson.
Keyshawn Henderson, so they have that backup. I really like that. And then yeah, they bring in Shadre Hurst, Drew Terrell, tight end Patrick Overmeyer, and then my breakout player, running back Makai Hughes.
Oh,
He's a,
okay.
he's
Yeah,
a,
he's on his team now. That's true.
he's a senior, 6 foot, 210 pounds. He had 2,800 rushing yards in 2 years at Tulane from 2023 to 2024. And then last season at Oregon, I think he was injured, and he didn't really do much. He
I
had like
think he was
18
just buried.
or
I don't think he
buried.
was injured.
It was one of the two. Yeah, he might have just been buried, but he only had 18 snaps at Oregon
Yeah.
at running back. He's the 28th ranked running back transfer this year, which is why I kind of consider him as a breakout again, because while he was great at Tulane, he hasn't really been like amazing on a good team, and I really think he could revitalize his career a little bit with the departure
Mm-hmm.
of blanking on his name. They lost their starting running back.
Dean Connors.
Dean Connors, thank you. With the departure of Dean Connors, I think Makai Hughes could potentially step up into that RB1 spot for Houston. And for their over-under line, which is 8.5 wins, I'm going to take the over. I don't think they got worse, in my opinion. I get they lost Tanner Koziel, Latrell
Mm.
McCutcheon, a couple more UDFA guys, but like when I look at this outgoing transfer list and the guys they lost to the NFL, it really is not a huge impact for me. They still have a great receiver room. They still have a great quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They upgraded their offensive line. Their defense is still great. I don't see why they would get worse. I have them over 8.5 wins. I'm actually going to have them at 10 wins is my prediction for Houston.
Yeah, so I'm taking the over too. I am going 10-2 as well. I think they face I think they face an out of conference opponent that I think they lose to, and then I think
Hold
they
up.
face
I'll
Tech,
find
and
it.
I think I have them losing to Tech.
Yep, I have them losing
Um,
to Tech and then someone else.
but I think their ceiling's 12-0. Like actually, I
Yeah,
think they could be
I
Tech.
would agree.
I think their floor is 6-6, so still a bowl game at very worst. But I think Wigman gets better. I think he plays more comfortable under this O line. I think this
Yeah,
O line improves a lot. I think their running game maybe gets a little worse, but I think with the talent in the running back room getting worse, but the O line talent getting better. I mean, man, Makai Hughes was a top transfer guy
mm-hmm.
before he went to Oregon. I mean, at the end of the day, he was super productive at Tulane, and I'm not really sure what happened. He's kind of like a really big mystery, but
Yeah, I
hopefully
don't
he can
know.
bounce back. Like
That's
literally,
kind of
no
my hope,
one's like it was so weird. I mean, he
dude.
should
Yeah,
have started
yeah,
at Oregon too. It kind of
yeah,
felt like, but hopefully he can bounce back. Amari Thomas, like I said, might be the best receiver in the Big 12. He's
yeah.
probably a
He's
top 10
really good.
receiver in college football, man. He had I think like 8 touchdowns, 970 yards. Like he was almost
Something
a
like that.
thousand yards. Like very, very productive in college. And then their defense just feels like it's always pretty consistently like right above average. And I think their offense could be really good. So in this conference, if they go 12-0, I'm not surprised. And I think 10-2 is like I don't see them losing to any. Did you what's the
They
other
don't.
team?
They're out of conferences: Oregon State, Southern U, and Georgia Southern.
Okay, so I think it was probably just me assuming they dropped one then. I think they lose to
I think that's kind of what I said. I think they would lose to Texas Tech and then drop a game.
yeah, but I
To
don't
like
see them
some
dropping
random
really
team.
any other Big 12. Like maybe they lose to like a kind of top team in like I don't know, like Arizona or something like that, or
They don't.
like
Yeah, they don't
Georgia
play
Tech if
Arizona.
they play them.
Dude, I'm looking at their schedule. It's actually way easier than I was thinking.
I think that's why I had them go 10-2.
Dude, they play UCF, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Utah, Cincinnati, Colorado, West Virginia, Baylor in conference.
Yeah, so I think last year they got upset by West Virginia, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yeah.
And for me, it's just like I'm kind of expecting that.
I'm expecting
But
them to lose one, like just drop one.
I mean, 8.5 wins, man. That seems free to me. I
Yeah,
don't
I would
know. I
agree.
would be very pressed to see them be lower than 9 wins. I mean, because that you lose to Tech and then you lose 2 other games. Anything more than that feels very hard to believe, especially with an easy schedule. But that's what my
Yeah,
ceiling's 12-0. And we'll see
I
a
think
little
they
bit
could.
later, maybe how much I like Houston in our conference championship game. But
Mm, mm.
yeah, maybe we'll be talking about them later. But I really, really like this team,
Yeah, good
and
team.
I think that they could make the Clutch Flow playoff. Maybe
I
so.
don't think that's crazy.
Yeah, that's Houston. Do you have anything else to say about them?
No, I think that's it. I'm ready to move on to Iowa State.
Yeah, so Iowa State, man. You want to talk about a team that got picked apart like Cincinnati? They might have gotten picked apart worse. Oh my God,
Yeah.
their line is 5.5 wins. Notable players for me. I had Edge Isaac Terrell. He
Mm-hmm.
was pretty productive for them. That's kind of it. Their quarterback, Jalen Rayner, dual threat transfer from Arkansas State. He's interesting. He was pretty solid there. You know, pretty productive throwing. Also, really really dangerous as a rusher. I don't really think the situation around him's that good though.
Yeah.
So we'll see how he deals with the level of competition being heavily increased. And then their coach Jimmy Rogers. This was tough for them because they had Matt Campbell leave for Penn State, like
Yep.
about as late in the process in the coaching hire
Very
cycle
late.
as you possibly could. And he's been their coach for like literally ever. And Iowa
Yep.
State has historically been like one of the worst Power Four teams before Matt Campbell got there. And yeah, he kind of took like the reason they were good is because he could actually recruit. He kind of just took all the recruits with him to Penn State, and now
Yeah.
there's like no one. There's nothing.
There is nothing.
Jimmy Rogers is he's fine. I
Yeah.
think he was the coach at like Idaho State. No, 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 no. I think he won that national championship at like South Dakota State. And then he
Something like that.
transferred to Washington State where they went 6-6, so not great, but they like almost beat Ole Miss and Washington State was really bad. They weren't projected to go 6-6, so he went with 6-6 with them.
Yeah,
So
South Dakota State.
that's what I thought. Yeah, so he's pretty decent. Um, Obviously you probably wanted someone a little bit of a higher caliber tier because it feels like they're like Iowa State kind of elevated themselves as a program. It feels like they're kind of viewed a little
Mm-hmm.
highly, or at least a lot higher than they were, and now it kind of feels like they didn't get that same caliber of coach. But yeah, my breakout player for them is Jalen Rayner because I
Okay.
think they're gonna rely on him a ton.
Yeah,
Um,
that's valid.
and he's gonna kind of have to be Superman for this team if they're good, to be very honest. And I just think that there's gonna be a lot of production following that. So that's why he's my breakout player. But what did you think about Iowa State, man?
Yeah, I it's honestly been a really sad off season for them.
No, it has been,
It's
bro.
been really sad, bro.
Oh man.
Matt Campbell transferring, he brought 24 players with him to Penn State from Iowa State. Like, dude, you literally just took the entire team. Just the whole
Yeah, he
team.
actually did, bro.
And then on top of that, they lose Dominique Orange in the draft. They
Yep.
lose Rocco Beck, who went to
Yep.
Penn State. And then, yeah, they 55 transfers out of the team. 55. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's like
literally your whole
That
team.
shouldn't.
That's your whole
That's
team.
like literally your whole team. Yeah.
I mean,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
they added Jalen Rayner, running back Cameron Petaway, a couple wide receivers in Evan Boyd, Cody Jackson, and Jordan Bailey. Seven offensive linemen, tight end Tyler Fortenberry, couple DBs, four linebackers, nine defensive linemen. They had to bring in everyone for their team
Yeah.
because they lost everyone. Their line is at 5.5 wins. I'm taking the under. I just first year head coach with a completely brand new team. He's coming off of coaching at Washington State, and before that he was at South Dakota State. It's like he doesn't have like high D1 experience really, and now he's taking over a team who just lost literally every player they had, and he has to rebuild it from scratch. I have him going 3-9, maybe 2-10. I don't know. I just don't see it this year with them. It really sucks because Iowa State should be a good team, but it's
No,
like
I like them too.
I like them too. When you get picked apart like that, it's like what do you even do? You really can't do anything
Yeah.
about it. My breakout player for them is my second Crawford of the video, Caden Crawford, defensive end. He is 6'4", 265 pounds. He had an 88.1 overall grade in 2025 on South Dakota. And he had 4 sacks, 31 hurries, 8 hits, and an 88.9 run defense grade. So he had some pretty solid stats on a smaller school. So I think he can contribute to this Iowa State team that is in desperate need of any help they can get. But yeah, this is a pretty bad outlook for Iowa State. But I don't know what's going to happen this season. I think their schedule's pretty tough. I don't know, dude. It really sucks because there's just not much they could have done about this, really.
Yeah. I'm going under 2. I'm a little higher. I think going 4-8.
Okay.
I think their floor is 2-10 though.
Yeah.
Like I think they could lose. Like I think they play like 2 toss-up free games, or not toss-up, like freebie games, and then the rest of them I think they could lose.
I have them beating SEMO and Bowling Green,
Yep.
and then picking up another in-conference game.
Yep. Yeah. So 2-10. I think they're ceiling 7-5. I think they could be decent if Rayner's fine. I think Jimmy Rogers could maybe be decent enough, and I think their defense is like. It's fine. Like I could just see this team being like average, and I wouldn't be too surprised.
Yeah.
I guess, but the fact that they're ceiling 7-5, I mean, that means that their best outlook's probably like 5 or 6 wins. It's like, ugh.
Yeah,
But
their
for me,
ceiling
I
is
mean,
lower than their last season record.
yeah, I mean, we're talking about a team that like 2 years ago, bro, they had a ton of guys I liked. I mean, Darian Porter, I really like Darian Porter, corner on the Raiders now. Both of their wide receivers, Jaden Higgins, I thought was a first round talent. I thought Jalen Noel was a top 15 player. I fucking love Jalen Noel.
Yep.
Like this is a team that I remember watching. They were lighting it up, man, and it's just like now it's like,
sad.
oh boy. And it seems like they're a couple years away from ever being good again. I just don't. They don't have enough of a good like. It's a horrible area to recruit from. It feels like they're not going to have that much funding. And then, like, any top guy in the Midwest is not going to Iowa State anymore. They're going to Iowa instead. So it's like, yeah, I'm not sure what their outlook is. But, yeah, back to the basement of the Big 12, buddy, I guess. Like, Jesus. I mean, like, in the least harsh way possible, they don't have a really good outlook. So, yeah, I'm taking the under for them. And let's move to a not much better team in Kansas, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
So their line is 5.5 wins, which, my God, they would be. I might almost bet this. I might bet one of the lines on this.
All right.
You know, we'll get to it. But notable players for me, running back Dylan Edwards, the transfer from Kansas State. Who was injured last year. I literally watched the injury happen. It was a really bad ankle injury. It was week 0 versus Iowa State, I believe. And like second play, and he like really something. I forget it was a dislocation or a complete break, whatever. But he's back now. Hopefully he's good for them. I really like him. He's my breakout player as well. I might as well say that. I think he could be. I think his top speed and acceleration are some of the best, if not the best, in a running back in college football. And as long as his ankle doesn't hold him back, I think he can get right back to it. And then other notable players, wide receiver Nick McMillan, who was actually like very productive for them last year. I think he almost had
Yep.
1,000 yards. I think he was a 900-yard guy. And quarterback, nobody really knows. I think it's a three-man battle, but the two most likely I found were Chase Jenkins and Isaiah Marshall. I don't know if
Yeah.
you found anything,
Yep.
but
I
it
think
seems like it's one
Isaiah
of the
Marshall's their pick right now, but
projected. Okay. Yeah, I've heard that it's very, very split and that it will literally run down to week one. So
yeah.
that's not a good sign,
No.
considering that neither of these guys are really that notable anyway. And
Yeah.
then their coach Lance Leopold is, I think fine, not really fine, probably a little worse than fine. Um, and yeah, this is a Kansas team that just feels like who was their quarterback last year? I really, really liked him.
Oh, Daniels? No. Why am I
Jalen Daniels.
Jalen
Yes.
Daniels, yeah.
Man, he was like, I think he was the second best KU quarterback of all time. So when you go from that to this, where you don't even know who your quarterback is, and it's a battle between two kind of not special guys, and they weren't already that good last year.
Yeah.
Let's the outlook for this team is why don't you break it down? Why don't you tell us about Kansas,
Yeah, I
man?
mean, they lost Enrique Cruz and Emmanuel Henderson Jr. in the draft. They also lost Tyler Mercer, safeties Devin and Jalen Dye, Edge Dean Miller, and 21 other outgoing transfers. So they lost a lot of players. Like you said, they added Nick McMillan. Or was he already on the team? No,
I
they
think he was already on the team.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
I'll look it
And
up,
then
but I think
Najee
he's already on the
Cox
team.
added some offensive linemen in Kason Carpenter, Connor Stroh, and Nick Morrow. Added Dylan Edwards, like you talked about. A couple other guys. I look at their win total, which is 5.5, and they didn't even
Mm,
win over 5.5 games last year with Jalen Daniels at quarterback. And I just I don't know. Like you're bringing in, like you said, probably the second best Jayhawk ever for a quarterback, and you
yeah,
lose him, and now your quarterback situation is unknown, and you don't know. Like your wide receiver room is fine, your running back room is fine, your defense is fine, but like it was basically the same last season, but with a way better quarterback, and you have the
yeah,
same coach. I don't know. I granted they probably should have won more than 5 games last year. I feel like they were better than their record, but I don't
They
know.
were
They
dude.
were
I think they started really well and they lost the last four
yeah,
games of the
yeah,
season or something like
yeah.
that.
They
Yeah,
lost a lot in a row. Like I'm looking, they lost to Utah, Iowa State, Arizona. They lost 3 in a row at the end of the year, and then they lost 5 out of their last 6.
no, because I think they needed one more game to get to be bowl eligible, and they lost the last three.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, um,
But and
yeah,
I don't know. I just yeah, you lose Jalen Daniels. You go 5-7 last year with him, and then you're now probably relying on either Isaiah Marshall or someone else. And I just don't know. I actually don't think they're going to be that far off from the win total of 5.5. I think they're going to win 4 or 5. I think Isaiah Marshall is solid. I do see him starting, and he's my breakout player because I think he will be in the starting role, and he will break out just because he is the starter.
risky. What if he doesn't even start?
This is a very big risk for me because he might not even play, and in that case, he
Yeah.
will not be the breakout player. But I do like his build. He's 6 foot 215. He's a promising recruit. I think he was like a 3-star. And I think he has high upside. It's a risk for me, like you said, because he might not even start, and in that case, then he is not going to be a breakout. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't see them surpassing their win total from last year to pass this win total with a new quarterback. That's kind of where I fall on it. So yeah, I'm gonna go with 4 wins. I think.
Yeah, so okay, I was wrong. Nick McMillan, by the way, was a transfer. He came from Buffalo.
Okay,
You
that's
were
what I
right.
thought. That's what I thought.
Which yeah, I was kind of the reason I looked it up was like I thought the receiving core was horrendous last year, and it's because it was. I was like, I'd be hard pressed if there was a guy that productive that was on their team last year. But yeah, I man, I'm taking the under like easily. I have them going
Yeah.
3-9. I think their
Okay.
floor is 2-10. I think their ceiling is 6-6.
Yeah, that's
Like
fair.
a game over their line. Like, and that seems very hard pressed to me. Like, dude, I don't like the coaching situation. I don't like the quarterback situation.
No.
I mean, the fact that your wide receiver one is Dick McMillan, and it's like this is a guy who's at the end of the day played at Buffalo, and he wasn't even the wide receiver one there. It was Victor Cruz. Or yeah, Victor Cruz, I think, who he was my breakout player for. He transferred to one of the ACC teams. I
Victor
can't
Cruz,
think of them.
Giants legend.
That's what I'm like. I think it was Victor Cruz, right? Something Cruz. Um,
I think you're right.
and it's like, man, you hope he works. You really hope that Dylan Edwards comes back healthy. I mean, man,
Yeah.
you
You
kind of
need
need him
him. You
to.
need him.
And I mean, I just think like they would be so lucky to get 4 wins. I look at their schedule. I'm like, I just don't see it. I think their
Their
defense isn't
schedule,
good at
yeah.
all.
Their
I think
schedule's
their
tough too.
offense is, man, they need like 3 guys to work out just for them to be average, and that's a pretty big if each time. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This team isn't like coached amazingly either. Like it feels
Yeah,
like they were pretty
dude,
consistently
they're
disappointing with Jalen Daniels. So
their out of conference game. One of them is Missouri, and then you have
yeah, they're
like
losing.
I think they beat LIU and Middle Tennessee. Those are their two freebies.
Yep, yep.
And
Which is
then
my
like
floor for them is probably
I
210.
I'm looking at their in conference. They maybe beat Baylor, Oklahoma State, maybe like Arizona State. I don't know, one of those three maybe. But I there's even with that, that's 5 wins. You need another
Yeah,
one in these. Like I just don't see it. I don't
yeah.
know.
Um, but yeah, unless you have anything else to say, it's just I'd be very surprised if they go over that. To be
Yeah,
honest.
I agree. I want to get out of this terrible slump of teams we're going through right now.
Yeah, well, we're getting to a little bit better of one in
We
my
are, we
opinion.
are, we are.
With Kansas State, the better of the Kansas teams, their
Absolutely.
line is 7.5 wins.
Yep.
Notable players: quarterback Avery Johnson,
Yep.
safety Jason Prevard. Avery Johnson, man, probably one of the better quarterbacks in college football. Really big dual rushing threat. Um, honestly, pretty solid passer overall. He's,
Mm-hmm.
I believe, been their starter for a couple of years now, and
He
he's been
has.
pretty
Yep.
decent.
Yeah.
Their coach Colin Klein was actually a K-State legend. I don't know if you knew this.
Mm-hmm.
He was a really big. He finished second in Heisman voting, I think, like in the early
I
two
think so.
thousands or
Yeah,
something
I
like
think you're
that.
right.
And funnily enough, is like kind of was like a much better version of Avery Johnson, but like very similar and the same type
Mm-hmm.
of player. So maybe that will elevate Avery Johnson's strengths in a sense.
For sure.
Um, and my breakout player for them is freshman. He was a freshman last year. Transfer edge from Oklahoma State, Wendell Gregory,
Okay.
who was pretty solid for them, honestly.
Yeah.
He had I like 3 or 4 sacks, 20 something pressures. And I think he probably projects to be K State's best defensive player, man. Because as a freshman, that's something to scoff at, especially with how bad OK State was. So that's my breakout player for them. And yeah, what did you think about Kansas State?
Definitely the better of the two Kansas teams,
Oh,
in
for
my
sure.
opinion. Um, they did lose a few players to like the draft. They lost Sam Hecht, their star center. They
Mm-hmm.
lost VJ Payne, and
Yep.
then they lost Dylan Edwards to Kansas, who he was their running back.
Mm-hmm.
And then wide receiver Jace Brown, 3 more rotational RBs, couple other depth pieces. Honestly, not a ton. I think the biggest ones are VJ Payne and Sam Hecht. Maybe Dylan Edwards as well. But they replaced him with Rodney Fields Jr., who I think is going to be solid. And then they also added wide receivers Josh Manning and Isaiah Williams, along with offensive linemen Tanner Morley and Delvin Morris. And then, like you said, edge Wendell Gregory, and then nose tackle Kamari Burns, and then a couple more DBs in Coy Beasley and Jason Prevard. My breakout player is wide receiver Josh Manning, transfer from Mizzou. He played 3 seasons at Missouri, and he is 6'3", 217 pounds, and he steadily got more and more snaps as his time in Mizzou went on. And last year he had 51 targets and only had 1 drop. So
Damn. Okay.
I'm going to take him as
Solid.
my breakout player. I think he will immediately be a starter on this team. Their wide receiver room is
Probably.
not amazing, so he'll give Avery Johnson a good target. And then for their over under, I don't know. I was kind of fighting with myself a little bit here because I think the 7.5 is a little bit high from where they were last season at 6 wins. So that's where I was a little bit nervous to go over, but I think I'm going to pull the trigger and go over. I think they win 8 games. I do like this K-State team. I think Colin Klein, coming from a background of being a player here, is going to set a good culture. Even though it's his first season, I think he can turn them around a little bit from their kind of mediocre play the last couple years. And I do like this K-State team with Avery Johnson at the helm, and they added a few wide receiver pieces. I like Josh Manning. I think their defense is solid. Yeah, I'm going to take 8-4 as their record for this year. Definitely the better Kansas team. And that is my take on Kansas State. I'm interested to hear what you have to say, though, because this is an interesting line for me.
Yeah, same exact thing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
8-4. Oh, I'm taking the over.
We did not talk about this beforehand.
No, we did not. And we disagreed at the start of the video. It seems like we kind of are back to agreeing. I think we have a very similar mind when it comes to evaluating.
We really do. And
I
hope we'll have a little bit of a disagreement coming up on a couple of the next teams. So.
Oh, I think we will. I think there's a lot of teams that are very bipolar in a sense, but yeah, with K-State, man, I think just because of Avery Johnson, I think he raises the floor of this team so much. Mm-hmm. Their schedule is really not that bad either. My ceiling for them is 11-1. I think they play kind of like a top dog, and if I'm mistaken and they don't, then they probably just drop a game. But I think they do have potential to be 11-1, and this is a team that I think could play in the conference championship game for sure. They're probably one of the top teams in the Big 12. And I think their floor is 6-6. I just really don't see them losing any less than that or any more than that with Avery Johnson. I also think you have enough stars on your defense. I think Wendell Gregory, man, he could be really good. Like I really think he showed so much as a freshman on a horrible defense. I think he could be a freaking I think he could be a star, man. I think we're talking about like first round potential when he's eligible for him. I really do think that. So hopefully he takes that leap forward, and I just think they're solid. 8-4. I think I'm gonna have them go over by a win. And they're a team that, like I said, floor 6-6. Could they win 7 games and go under? For sure. I'm just trusting in Avery Johnson. I know what he's capable of. He's a game manager, and a lot of teams lose in college because they can't stick to the plan, and fumbles happen, interceptions happen. It's hard to just keep a lead, but I have enough faith in Avery Johnson. I know the player he is. I think they're going to be fine going over this line, but yeah, Kansas State, I just feel like they're like kind of the definition of like a pretty great team. Like they're pretty good. Right. You feel really solid about them, and it feels like they're going to give whoever's facing them a hard time, at the very least, every week. You can't ever write them off. So, definitely. Yeah, unless you have anything else to say, you want to move to Oklahoma State?
Oklahoma State is next.
So we're talking about teams that are getting picked apart. Let's talk about a team that fucking retooled more than literally anyone. Their line's at 5.5 wins. Notable players for me, it's a little hard because I don't think these players are entirely proven yet, but you still have to give them credit because they were very productive at North Texas. I think it's running back Caleb Hawkins, wide receiver Wyatt Young, and quarterback Drew Mestemaker. Drew Mestemaker, man, we're talking about, everyone knows him, it feels like at this point. Was not in our quarterback video. I'm kind of regretting it. I wish we did talk about him. But we've talked about him enough since, honestly. We're kid who didn't even start in high school. He was sitting behind a 3-star. He was the punter and walks on to North Texas and, man, lights it up with Eric Morris' system, who is their coach. We're talking about maybe the best arm in college football. Man, he can make every throw.
And now he's on track to possibly get drafted. So that's an awesome story.
Very high.
Yeah.
Very high. I mean, I've heard people talk about him as quarterback 2, top 10 pick, maybe top 5 pick. I mean, it feels like the sky is the limit for Mestemaker.
Absolutely.
But the biggest question with them is they got to prove it. These are guys that came from North Texas. They had a very, very favorable schedule. They lost every game it felt like that they were challenged in when they faced the USF. They lost to them when they faced Tulane in the American Championship. They lost to them. And now we're talking about Big 12 competition. This is not American Conference competition. You are not facing literal scrub level teams every week. You're facing guys that are going to be drafted. Like at the end of the day, the level of competition is significantly higher. And like I said, Eric Morris, he was one of the top coaching candidates. Oklahoma State, they have to be ecstatic they got him, man, because there was definitely higher tier teams that were gunning for Eric Morris. And he comes over and brings virtually all his guys. I mean, this is literally just North Texas 2.0. And my breakout player for them is transfer wide receiver Justin Bowick
Okay.
from Illinois. He projects to be their wide receiver two behind Wyatt Young. I think Wyatt Young
Mhm.
is going to pick up a ton of attention. And man, you have to love this guy with Mestamaker. He's 6'5", 210.
Yep.
This is going to be a
Yeah,
really big
he's
target for
huge.
Mestamaker. At Illinois, he went 22 for 36, 265 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So he is more of a touchdown guy, but that's
For
exactly
sure.
what Mestamaker's going to
That's yeah,
use him
that's what he
for.
needs.
And I mean, this is somebody that like my breakout players. Obviously, I've had one, but this is somebody like I'm confident in. I think he's going to be a really good player for
Mhm.
them. And yeah, what did you think about Oklahoma State? Because it
I
feels like that line is set
yeah, it's high.
pretty decently.
I like Oklahoma State. I'm a Drew
Okay.
Messamaker fan from what I have watched of him. I get the
Hmm.
hype. I know that he came from North Texas. I know he had an easy schedule, and I'm really, really excited for him to prove that he is a good quarterback this year in a good conference.
Hmm.
I have full confidence in him. I really like his arm talent. I really like his accuracy. He does make mistakes at times, but I think every quarterback does. And I think as he
Yep.
develops, I mean, like you said, dude, he didn't even start in high school. Like he is literally
Yeah.
like learning the ropes as he goes, and he looked that good last year with minimal experience. I just think he's going to keep getting better. I really like the outlook for Oklahoma State here. After being 1-11 last year, this is a huge turnaround for them. Bringing in Eric
Yeah.
Morris, bringing in all these players, bringing in Wyatt Young, Drew Mestamaker, bringing in Caleb Hawkins, who is super productive. And like again,
Unbelievably productive.
I get that they're from North Texas. I get they had an easy schedule, but I just see the talent there, and I see their
Hmm.
abilities, and I just think it can translate to this conference in the Big 12. And then my breakout player is I think you kind of have to go with a target for Drew Mestamaker because Drew
Hmm.
Mestamaker is going to be utilizing all the targets to the best of his ability. Mine's more of a risk, kind of a swing, a swing in the fog. I'm going to say tight end Donovan Green. He is a transfer from, I believe it is LSU. He did not do anything really at LSU, but he before that he was at Texas A&M. He got a little bit of playing time as a true freshman. He's 6'3", 238 pounds. And he's just looking to revitalize his career. And I don't really know if Mestamaker has had a proven tight end weapon at North
Yeah.
Texas. So I could definitely see Eric Morris throwing in Donovan Green or maybe another tight end. Maybe I'll be wrong and it'll be a different tight end, but another tight end into this offense to give Drew Mestamaker another target. And I just think
Yeah.
Donovan Green with his size could be a great change of pace from Wyatt Young or Justin Bowick or whoever's in that wide receiver room. So I'm going to take my breakout as Donovan Green. And then for this line at 5.5 wins, I went back and forth with this one. I do think it is definitely a higher line than you would like because Oklahoma
They
State,
went one
they
and
haven't
11 last year.
they went 1-11. They haven't shown much as of recently. But I just said, screw it. I'm going with the over. I think that Oklahoma State in this conference with we were just talking about all these teams that I think are going to be worse than they were last season, have a
Hmm.
bit of a regression season. Oklahoma State is one of those few teams in the Big 12 that I think is truly on the come up. And I think
Hmm.
that with their schedule, which isn't super horrible, I think they
Yeah.
can win 6 games. I'm going to have them go 6-6 and have their first 500 or better season in a couple years. They've been pretty bad recently. So I think this is going to. This offseason is really going to help them turn around, and I'm excited to watch it, honestly, regardless of the
Yeah.
outcome. This has
Fun
been a
players, man.
fun players, and this has been a fun offseason for them. So I just like all the energy around it that they're have higher hopes for the season. And like I said, even if they don't make the over, I'm still gonna have fun watching them. But yeah, I'm excited to hear what you have to say because this is an interesting line. Because you kind of have to be pretty confident in Oklahoma State and all these North Texas players to take the over here. So
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think I'm going over or under? I'm interested.
if
What do
I
you
had to
think?
guess, I think you're going to take the under because you don't know if they're proven in a better conference. But I could see you taking the over honestly because you might like Drew Mestamaker and you might just think he can elevate the squad. But I'm gonna say you take the under, but I might be wrong here.
So it's actually funny because I'm higher on them than you are. I have them
Really?
going
Okay.
over. I have them
Okay.
going. 7-5.
Okay,
I
I like
mainly think
that.
it's because of their favorable schedule. And
Yeah,
funnily enough, when everyone's talking about the players, I actually like the coach. I think the coach
yeah,
just
that's
elevates the
fair.
floor. I really like Eric Morris. Like, I think Maker is, I think his game is very reliant on kind of playing league competition. It's very stretching the field deep, and that's a lot harder to do at this level of competition. But man, I actually like with Wyatt Young and Bowick being my
Yeah,
breakout, like they have it. And with Hawkins being, I mean, he's damn good.
yeah,
He's
he
really,
is
really
really
good.
good.
Running backs, if you're a good running back, man, if you're, there's just certain skills where it's like the level of competition will be something to adjust to, but he's still going to be productive. Like I can almost guarantee it. Um, so I think their floor is 4-8, which is, I mean, after a 1-11 season, if your
It's
floor is four
amazing.
and eight, that's awesome. And I think
Yeah,
their ceiling's 10-2. I think if all these players click, which I mean, that's why I think going 7-5. I'm a little more skeptical. I feel like a lot
yeah,
of people think this team is going to
definitely
be really, really good. That's come back consistently here, but it's a big if for all these players to hit, let alone even one of them. I mean, let's
for
be
sure.
real. But if they all do, it is a real possibility. There's no reason they don't go 10-2. I think they lose. I think they play Tech and they lose, and then I think they probably drop a game, or there's maybe another team they play that's a little harder, like Houston or something. But I mean, man, their ceiling definitely is 10-2, and they definitely could compete in this conference title game if it all goes right. And I really do think it's Eric Morris, and I think they found their guy. I think this team, if this is still a super young team, if they're not good this year, I think they're only going to be better next year.
100%.
So yeah, I think this is like if you're an Oklahoma State fan, this is definitely going to be on the
Oh,
come up
dude,
for you.
you
Like you
should you
said,
should if you're an Oklahoma State fan in 2026, I would not be I could not be any more excited for the season.
yeah. I will say though, like I think 7-5. I know I'm higher than them than you, but I
Yeah.
do think that 10-2 ceiling is kind of fantasy. I would they can do it because Maker is so talented and Hawkins is too and everybody else, but
Bro.
for all of them to kind of translate over, and then I also think their defense is not that good. Like I think it's
Yeah,
kind of below average. I would be hard pressed to find them over 8 wins, but man, 7 wins for
that
me.
would be
That's what I
nuts.
predict them at. That's just such an improvement from 1-11. You go to a
Oh,
bowl game, win
100%.
it, and then next year retool even more. I mean, they for a college football like rebuild, man, they skipped the past a lot of years of struggling that they should have had to go through. So yeah, I'm actually excited to see how they rebuild
I'm
because
so excited.
they're always a fun team to watch too.
This is going to be my favorite team to watch I think this season other than the Bad. Well, no, actually over the Badgers. I
Yeah, there's just so much pain in watching the Badgers.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm glad we view them in a very similar because I was kind of worried you weren't going to like them as much as me, but it's good that we you actually like them more than me, so that's good.
Yeah, yeah. But next we have TCU, uh, Horned Frogs.
Yep.
Their line is 6.5 wins.
Yep.
Notable players for me is safety Jamel Johnson, and he's not super notable, but still probably maybe one of the best defensive players.
Mhm.
Their quarterback is Harvard transfer Jaden Craig. He
Mhm.
had 2,884 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and a 91.3 grade. He was a 3-year starter at Harvard, and has pretty consistently been a very highly graded
Yeah,
PFF quarterback there, very productive, and they get him in as their transfer. Coach Sonny Dykes has seen this team be, I would say, pretty successful. It feels like they always
for
are
sure.
hovering around that 8, 9 when season total around, and that's pretty damn good for college football, especially in the Big 12. They play some harder comp. My breakout player for them is Jaden Craig.
Yeah,
I think he's actually very productive at Harvard, and that PFF grade, man, that's amazing. I think he's also
absolutely.
really big. I think he's like 6'3", 210. Like he's pretty good in terms of size, and I just think overall, like this TCU team is always kind of like K State. They're never a pushover. It feels like they're never like super elite, but they're always like a pretty damn solid team, like a pretty good
Definitely.
team.
Definitely.
And yeah, overall, what did you think about TCU?
I'm a really big fan of this TCU team. Honestly,
Okay.
I really like Sonny Dykes. In his 5 seasons, well, this is his 5th season, but in his previous 4 seasons at TCU, like you said, he's been very consistent, hovering around that
Mm-hmm.
8-9 win mark. I really like bringing in Jaden Craig. He's also my breakout player. That is our first agreement in breakout player this
Oh,
video.
okay, that's awesome.
I really like Jaden Craig. I really like what he showed at Harvard, and I think he
Yeah.
can transfer that over to TCU with some pretty solid weapons. They added Jeremy Scott, wide receiver. They added Jacob Fields is a safety they added, and then linebacker Michael Short. And those were like the positions they lost in the draft and in free agency, or not free agency, the transfer portal. Like they lost
Yeah.
Josh Hoover to Indiana. They lost Bud Clark in the draft. They lost Caleb
VJ
Elliams-Orr in
Payne.
the draft.
Yep.
VJ Payne is from
Oh, K-State.
K State.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Namdi Obizior, they lost in the
Yep.
in the UDFA's, or maybe he was a late draft pick, but like those were like the main like linebacker, safety, quarterback is what they needed to address. They addressed all three of those positions, and I think they did a pretty good job replacing them. I think Jaden Craig is going to be a good quarterback for them. Jeremy Scott is going to be a good weapon for him as well. I just think they didn't really get worse. If anything, they got better, in my opinion. And they were 9-4 last year, and that's with the bowl game. But I think they went 8-4 in the regular season, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's what it would be. If
I honestly think they're gonna go. Hold up, I gotta check the schedule, but I think I have them going 9-3. I'm a big fan of this TCU team. I really like Dykes, and I just think like I don't know. I think they could be in contention for the Big 12 this year in a season where a lot of the teams are kind of a little bit down. And this is why I was also pretty high. Like they open up their first three games are UNC, Grambling State, Arkansas State. Those are 3 wins. And then I think they beat Baylor. They beat West Virginia. That's 5 wins. They beat Kansas. That's 6 wins. I think they go right head to head with Utah, Arizona. I think they can easily win 9 games, if not 10 or 11. I really like this TCU team. I think they addressed what they needed to address this offseason, if not made their team better. And like I said, they went 9-4 last year with an 88 team grade on PFF. I would be very impressed if they improved, and I think they can. But yeah, I'm excited to hear. I was also going to say I feel like the over under is a little bit disrespectful, but
I kind of agree.
It's to you, man. I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I have the over. I think this line should have been like 7.5, maybe even 8.5.
I agree.
I have them going 8-4.
Okay.
I think their floor is 5-7, just because I think this is always consistently a pretty good team. But I think their ceiling's 10-2. I think they face like maybe a Tech or like a Houston. So I think they probably drop that game, and then I think they probably just drop another game.
Their last game is against Tech, and then they got BYU.
I am a little less high on them than you. I think their wide receiver room is not great, and I do think there's a chance that Jaden Craig. I mean, let's be real. Harvard to Big 12 is
it's a tough transition.
But I think he's a very safe player. I think he's a very methodical player. I think he's a system-esque player too. And Dykes is a good coach. It feels like TCU. It feels like always has pretty solid quarterbacks that play within the system and play to their strengths. So that's why he's my breakout player. Honestly, I think that he can come in and at least replicate a good amount of what he did at Harvard. But yeah, I'm taking the over 8-4. I feel like that's pretty solid for them. It feels like you're a little bit higher than I am, but I see it. Honestly, it feels like they're always a team that all it takes is for them to get hot. They can upset a team that they shouldn't be, and then all of a sudden they're 10-2. And that's really, really good for the Big 12. So I get it. I think their line is disrespectful. I'm not a betting man. I would be hard pressed to see them losing less than 7 games, to be honest. I don't really see it, but overall I agree with you, man. I think TCU is a pretty good team this year. So unless you have anything else to say, would you want to move to the big dogs of the conference?
Big dogs in the Big 12. Yep, Texas Tech.
And one of the big dogs in college football recently,
for sure,
Texas Tech. And their line is set at 10.5 wins for a very good reason.
Yep.
Notable players for me. I have the most out of any team here, and I only listed 4. I could have gone on for like 8, to be honest. But highlighted players for me are corner Bryce Pollock, somebody I loved the player I'm going all in on. He was in our DB video. Well, we both loved, but I'd like to say he was my guy before he was yours.
Hey, I wrote it down in my notebook before we even talked.
Okay, so did I. But let's reword this. He's a neutral zone guy. Neutral zone loves
he's a
Bryce
neutral
Pollock,
zone guy.
man.
This is like a stock exchange has their guys they love.
Yes,
we love Bryce Pollock.
This is Bryce Pollock, yeah. And then another guy we love, defensive tackle AJ Holmes, definitely has the potential to be the best DT in the country and maybe even the best DT in the draft next year. Another guy that has potential to be the best player in the draft at his position, tight end Terrence Carter. And then somebody who else, linebacker Ben Roberts. He was a pretty damn solid player last year, next to Rodriguez. Why
Yep,
am I blanking on
Rodriguez,
his
Jacob
name?
Rodriguez. Yep,
Jacob Rodriguez. I was gonna say Jesse Rodriguez. And yeah, this team is they have a really really good player. Feels like at every single position, honestly.
absolutely.
Um, Quarterback room is kind of a mess. Everyone knows it was supposed to be Sorsby.
Yep.
He was ruled eligible or ineligible, then was
Mm-hmm.
found eligible, then stepped away from the team
It
after getting
was
grilled so bad.
whole
I
mess.
don't really know what happened there, but now it's Will Hammond who stepped
Yep.
in for a few games last season and looked fine. There was
Yeah,
actually a big debate if he should start like all season because he
I
looked really good at times.
I think he's
Um,
a good quarterback.
I kind of agree with you. Coach Joey McGuire, man, this guy can recruit.
Oh
It
yeah,
feels like this team is unbelievably talented, and it's primarily because of Joey McGuire. Um, like honestly, he is unbelievable. It feels like in terms of like the come up of Texas Tech. Texas Tech kind of used to be a laughing stock. Their defense was funnily always like really really bad. And now it's like they had the best defense in college football by like literally every margin last year. And my breakout player, I have two. I'll hone in on one of them, I guess. I think defensive tackle from Wake Forest, Mateen Ibarogba
okay,
from Wake Forest. I really think, man, someone has to kind of break out next to AJ Holmes on this D line. I mean,
for
we saw how
sure.
many guys were productive on their D line last year, and it feels like he was a top guy in the transfer portal, and you know a lot of guys that Tech picks up from the transfer portal, at least on defense, tend to be pretty damn good. I
Tend
mean,
to be pretty
David
good. Yeah,
Bailey,
yeah.
David Bailey,
David Bailey.
so second overall pick. It feels like they have really, really good development on their D line. So if Mateen Ibarogba is that next guy next to AJ Holmes,
Right.
not surprised there. But then somebody I think, man, can be Jacob Rodriguez 2.0. Like, honestly, is a linebacker Austin Romaine, transfer from Kansas
Yeah.
State.
Yeah. I
He's
like
so
that.
damn good. He kind of had a fall off year last year where it wasn't as great, but the year before, I mean, we're talking about he was one of the best linebackers in the country.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't really know if this is a breakout, but it's kind of in the sense of like earlier when you had one of your guys. I think he could go from great to elite. Like
Yeah.
I do.
And I think that
He's
still
been
I think that still counts for sure.
he's proven to be a very high IQ player, really, really good against the run. I think he's actually decent again in pass rush too. I think he can slot in. If it's not Ben Roberts, he's going to eat, and if it's not Ben Roberts, it's him that fills
Yep.
that kind of Rodriguez role. And we all saw what I mean. That's
Yeah.
best linebacker
The
in the country stuff.
the
So
one thing I would say about Romaine is I think if he improves his tackling, he definitely gets to where he's at, like where you're saying.
yeah,
Like his
yeah,
biggest thing is just he needs to improve his tackling, and like he could be literally Jacob Rodriguez, like completely.
yes.
He is very good.
So yeah, it seems like this team is just once again. I mean, I don't know if their defense is as good as last year, but it
Yeah,
might
it's
be.
yeah.
I don't know. There's some really, really talented players here, and we didn't. I didn't even talk about half of them. I mean, honestly,
There's a
there's
lot.
guys like
There's
I
a
think
lot.
Adam Trick is like their other edge player. He's really, really
I will
good.
talk about him. I will talk.
Oh, they have really, really good safeties and corners everywhere. Like Pollock is not the only guy here.
No.
Why don't you highlight some of these other guys for us that you're really good at that? Let's hear what you have to say about Tech, man. But man, they're so
Yeah.
loaded. It's
I
crazy.
I mean, speak of Adam Trick, he's my breakout player for them.
Okay.
I really, really, really like Adam Trick.
Yeah.
He is a beast, 6'4", 250 pounds. He had a 91.3 overall grade in 2025 for Miami, Ohio. He had a 91.1 pass rush grade with 8 sacks, 39 hurries, and 3 forced fumbles. I mean, this dude is just
Is this David Bailey right here?
that's just what I was about to say. This is just David Bailey 2.0. They're going to have him into a good pass rusher. I mean, I don't think he's going to go as high as David Bailey went because this was a weaker class,
Yeah.
but like I easily think he could be a first rounder after the season. I mean, he is a stat machine, and I just know this defensive line is going to be feasting again. And with that comes the rise of Adam Trick, because I believe he will be their best edge. I'm trying to think of the other guy's name because there was another guy. There's the other guy's also pretty solid.
Their other edge.
Trey White. I think Trey White will be pretty
yeah.
solid as well. Both of those guys are going to be a good tandem, just like David Bailey and Romello Height were last year. I just think it's kind of going to be another example of that. And then they also add wide receiver Kenny Johnson, who I think will be a good target for Will Hammond as well, in a wide receiver room that lost, Caleb Douglas, third rounder, and Reggie Virgil.
Wow, how,
I,
bro?
dude, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. But then they add guard Jordan Church as well. I think he will be solid. And like you said, Austin Romaine, he could be Jacob Rodriguez 2.0.
Yep.
And then our boy Bryce Pollock. I mean, this team is going to be amazing again. I would be very surprised. Taking out injury, I would be very surprised if this team went under the 10.5 win mark. I'm going to take the over on 10.5. I think they will win 11. I think they'll drop one game. I would not be surprised. I just feel like it's pretty hard to go 12-0. They definitely could.
Yeah.
100% they could, but I'm kind of bracing for the fact that they're going to lose one of these games, maybe to Houston, maybe to Arizona. TCU. I like TCU a lot. I could see them losing one of those, but I just think they're going to go over the 10.5 win mark. This team did not really get worse. And yeah, I think Tech is going to be the team to beat in the Big 12 this year. So
I agree. I'm right there with you. Once again, we agree. I'm taking the over. I'm going 11-1 too. I think, for me, their ceiling's 12-0. I like Houston enough. I think they could lose that game. That's why 11-1. I think they either lose to Houston or they probably drop a game. I think their floor is 9-3. If they lose more than 3 games, I am.
That's
like,
a failure.
What went wrong? I mean, for me, because I kind of look at Hammond, I'm like, even if Hammond sucks, dude, you have Cameron Dickey, you have Jacoby Williams, and you have Quentin Joyner. These are all guys that are probably going to be drafted,
Right.
straight up. And then it's like, I mean, I just want to highlight some of the guys we didn't talk about in terms of talent, because it's like, all right, you have Sheridan Wilson at center, one of the best centers in college football. You have
Right.
Howard Sampson at tackle, one of the best tackles in college football. You have Coy Eakin. I mean, we're talking about Coy Eakin was unbelievably productive for them. Kenny Johnson, this wide receiver room is pretty damn decent. Malcolm Simmons, Jacob Ponton is their other tackle. He's really, really good. John Curry is kind of their hybrid third linebacker. He's really, really good. I mean, like, dude, it just feels like they have talent everywhere, man. And the amount of guys, I mean, they're so good at recruiting too that it's like they definitely have 4 stars, 5 stars, high 3 stars that we're not even like aware of that that are breaking out 100%. In camp right now as we speak, who will produce for them. So yeah, I'd be hard pressed to see if Tech doesn't go 11-1. I really think that they should go 12-0.
Honestly, they should.
They should. I mean, Hammond would have to be a whole nother level of bad.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd have to be almost unplayable because their running back room will still be so good that they can literally just run the ball.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, they can just run the ball. They don't even need to pass. I'm being so serious because they won't get tired out. They have 3 good running backs, and then they can just rely on their defense. Their defense will honestly score enough points that's like they'll win just if they're off their defense scoring.
Yeah,
or putting them in like the 5-10 yard line. Like, dude, it's so like Will Hammond would have to be virtually unplayable, and we know he's not. We know he's at least below average.
Yeah, in the games he played in, he looked pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, now he's had a whole year of he's the guy getting first team reps, number 1 quarterback reps. It's like I don't see how they would get much worse.
No.
So yeah, man, we'll talk about them more later. But Tech is just, I mean, they should be a college football lock.
100%.
They should be. They last year, who was their quarterback last year? He went to the Patriots. Baron Morton. If he didn't have like the worst game of all time in the college, they would have beaten Oregon.
Yeah.
I think they got beat like 24-0 or something, and that was with their offense like being absolutely unplayable. And it's like you still only scored 24 points against them, Oregon. Like, dude, their defense was special last year, and I think it's gonna be special this year too. 100%. But enough of the Tech glaze. Unless you have anything else to say,
no.
Let's move on to UCF.
UCF. Yep,
their line is 5.5 wins.
Mm-hmm.
For me, notable players, I didn't really have one. I don't know if you agree with that. There wasn't anybody that really stuck out to me. Maybe their quarterback, but I figured I'd just talk about him here. Alonzo
Yep.
Barnett. Where did he play before? He played in like the Sun Belt.
Was
it like JMU? Did he play at JMU?
James Madison.
Yeah.
James Madison.
Okay, so he was a really, really solid quarterback at JMU. Obviously, JMU was competing for the college football playoff last year, I believe. I think they played
was it last year or the year before?
maybe the year before, but they've consistently been one of the top group of five teams.
Yeah.
It's kind of because of Alonzo Barnett.
Yeah, for
So this
sure.
is actually a really good pickup for a team the
100%.
caliber of UCF. You kind of immediately make quarterback your strength. And Coach Scott Frost, man, he's had a pretty good season for them before in
Oh
2017,
yeah.
I believe it was. Their unclaimed or their natty that they claimed or whatever.
Yep.
He's back with UCF. And obviously very, very familiar with this team. Had
100%.
really, really good seasons with them. And for me, my breakup player is corner Jaden Bellamy. It seems
Okay.
like UCF has sneakily had pretty good DBs over the years.
Yep.
I believe Mac McWilliams was one of them. I think there was one that went to like the Panthers. I can't think of his name. Funny enough, I never really liked any of them as prospects. I remember, but it feels like they always have a guy going like the fifth, sixth round, if around that range.
Mhm.
And clearly, they just had the formula for producing pretty decent DBs. So I'm gonna take Jaden Bellamy. I believe he was pretty productive for them before. So that's my breakout guy. And what did you think about UCF? I always forget they're in this conference. By the way, it
Yeah,
feels
I do
so
too.
weird.
I do too.
Like they're so out of place.
Yeah.
But
I actually I like this team a little bit.
okay.
I don't mind them. Scott Frost, I know they were 5-7 last year. I think it was a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
a like they were adapting still to the coaching
Yep.
change. And that's kind of how it was like last time when they went 13-0 with Frost. Like the first season they kind of were readjusting, and then the second season they just absolutely went nuts. And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen this year by any means, but
Yeah.
like they lost Malachi Lawrence, who got drafted in the first round. They
Good
lost
player.
Miles Montgomery, Jaden Nixon, Philip Dunham, Nigel Kelly, who's a Packer now. Yeah, I
He
think.
was a pretty good college player too.
He was a pretty good college player, and then a few other outgoing transfers they lost. I really like the Alonzo Bennett, uh,
Barnett.
Barnett, sorry,
Yeah.
Barnett pickup. And then my breakout player is running back Landon Chambers. He is from Akron. And he transferred over this year. He's 5'11", 215 pounds, had an 85 grade in 2025 with 1,270 yards and 10 touchdowns to 2 fumbles at Akron. And he averaged he had 5.3 yards per attempt and 3.31 yards per after contact per attempt, and an 80.4 receiving grade as well. So he was available in the receiving game. I just think they're more of a running team than a passing team. They need a good running back. So I just think Landon Chambers can be their running back one and give them solid production. But yeah, their line is at 5.5 wins. I'm going to take the over. I think their schedule's pretty favorable. I think they're going to win. I'm going to have them go 7-5. I think UCF will go 7-5 this year. I think the end of their season's favorable. I think the beginning of their season's favorable. They just have a little stretch in the middle where there's some tougher teams such as BYU, Oklahoma State, TCU, Houston. Those 4 games will be really, really tough. But outside of those 4 games, I think they could win every other game. I have them dropping 1 or 2 more games. I'm gonna have them drop 1 more, and they're gonna go 7-5. But yeah, I think this UCF team is kind of sneaky, and I'm excited to watch them this year, with Frost at the helm for his second year in a row here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I would like to hear what you have to say if you're in a similar mindset or not. So
Yeah, I'm in a similar mindset. I'm a little lower than you are on them, but I
okay,
still have them going over. I have them going
okay,
6-6.
okay,
I think their floor is 4-8 because I do think a lot can go wrong for them. I think they're very high
definitely,
variance in terms of team. Like a lot's on Alonzo Barnett, to be honest.
absolutely,
And how he operates on this offense. I think their ceiling's 9-3 though.
yeah,
So they can actually be a pretty solid team in this conference. But I think 6-6 is good. I think if they go 6-6, split the season and then go win a bowl game, that has to be considered successful to
for
me
sure,
for them. Especially with, like you said, the middle of their schedule being very difficult. But overall, this is just kind of like it's a very, very average team to me. You like them a little more than I do, but it kind of feels like UCF is like never really a threat, but never really like a complete pushover either. Like they always
that's
have a
fair,
few guys here and there. And it kind of just feels like the same this year. Like they have a few guys. Jaden Bellamy projects to be good. Alonzo Barnett, you hope to be good. And I think it's a little bit due to coaching. I think Scott Frost is obviously proven to be a pretty decent coach at this point. And yeah, overall, I think they can go over that win total. I definitely see them being around that 4, 5, 6 win mark, but they definitely have the potential to get a few more wins in the chamber,
yeah.
7 or 8. But I don't really have anything else to say about them, to be honest.
Yeah.
And with that, let's move to Utah, who's pretty consistently been one of the top dogs in this conference. Their line's set at 8.5 wins. Notable players for me is their quarterback, Devin Dampier.
Yep.
Big rushing threat. I thought he was going to be really, really good for them last year. I think he was kind of injured and he didn't start the full season, I believe.
Yeah,
But this year,
Lander Barton was their main starter, I think, right?
I thought he was a linebacker, wasn't he?
Or is he a
Or am
linebacker?
I tweaking? I think he is.
Maybe he is a linebacker. Maybe I'm tweaking.
But yeah, Dampier's my breakout player. This is going to be an interesting year for Utah, though. They lose a lot of talent, man. A lot. They lose Caleb Lomu. They lose Spencer Fano, 2 first-round picks, 2 very, very good first-round picks, too, in terms of O-line. They lose their coach, Kyle Winningham, of like 20-something years, replace him with a head coach in waiting, Morgan Scalley.
Yep.
There's a lot of turnover for this team. This is a team that it feels like can kind of have a fall off, to be very honest, just because of that. I mean, Kyle Whittingham's a very good coach going to get the Michigan job. That's obviously a very, very big program. Your O-line significantly gets a lot worse. I mean, just it's hard to replace those two essentially. And I really like Devin Dampier though. I think he can break out for them. I think he's going to do a lot of heavy lifting, to be honest, and he kind of has to. But there's some things I definitely have some questions with Utah, and I think that they aren't as I guess as simple to just say, yeah, they're going to be a top dog in the Big 12. I don't know if it's that easy to say that anymore.
For sure.
But what do you think about Utah?
Yeah, I kind of agree with what you said there about them possibly having a fall off season. I do view them a little bit lower than the past couple of years. They lost so many guys to Michigan transferring with, that I just forgot his name, the coach.
John Henry Daly. Whittingham.
Whittingham. Transferring with Whittingham, replaced with Morgan Scalley, and I'm sure he'll be solid, but this is his first season. There's going to be a learning curve. And for that reason, I do have them going under the 8.5 wins. I think they're going to win 7 or 8. If I had to guess, I would say they win 7 games would be my guess. But definitely they could go over and they might surprise me. But I'm going to take the under 8.5 for Utah. Some notable players they lost: Spencer Fano, Caleb Lomu. You mentioned them already. Those are big offensive lineman losses. Really, really hard to replace them. They also lost tight end Dallin Bentley. They lost edge John Henry Daly. They lost
Logan
tight
Fano
ends,
too.
Yep, Logan Fano in the draft. They lost tight end / wide receiver J.J. Buchanan, defensive tackle Jonah Leia, and then QB Isaac Wilson, who was kind of the backup for Dampier. And then, 16 more outgoing transfers. So they lost a ton of players, kind of like a lesser version of the Iowa State, where they lose everyone to Michigan or whatever. But they did add in a few receivers in Braden Pagan and Kiri Scholes, tackle Cedric Jefferson, edge Ethan Day, and then corner Elijah Reed. So they add in a few key players that can help mitigate the effects of all the losses they had. But I mean, I don't see a world where they don't feel the loss of Caleb Lomu and Spencer Fano, and then on top of that, your head coach of 20 years. That's where I'm just like, I just think they have to have a regression season, and it's not really something that's their fault. They need to readjust. So that's where I will take the under 8.5. And then for my breakout player, I think they need someone to replace John Henry Daly in that defensive line. I'm going to take Ethan Day, 6'4", 250 pounds, 75.4 overall grade in 2025 at North Texas, and had 4 sacks, 30 pressures, 4 hits, 73.4 run defense grade. I don't know. I just feel like, what is Utah if they don't have a pass rusher? So they got to kind of have someone to replace John Henry Daly, which we don't really think very highly of, but he was good in that system. So
still very productive.
Still very productive. So I'm going to take Ethan Day as my breakout player for Utah, and I'm going to take the under 8.5 wins for the season.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm taking the under. I have them going 8-4. I think their floor is 5-7. Man, I think they could fall off a lot. I do think their ceiling is 9-3, which feels maybe a little disrespectful for them. Like only 1 win over their total is their ceiling. But man, it's not good. Broke their trenches got obliterated.
Yeah,
I, I
yeah,
I mean that like dude,
obliterated.
like you lost your two most productive edge rushers and you lost your two best O linemen, and then you lost so much more,
Oh yeah,
and then you lost your like literally best coach of all time who's been there for like 20 years tenured, and it's like, dude, that's just not a recipe for success. And then
yeah,
it feels
not
like
at all.
they always kind of punched above their weight class anyways. Like they didn't really have a ton of talent to begin with. I just
No,
think a lot of teams that they used to kind of duke it out with, like BYU, maybe even be a little competitive with Tech or like Houston. I just think they lose kind of all these big games this
I
year.
agree.
I
I
really
agree.
don't see them winning. I don't think they have the talent edge, and then I don't think they have the coaching edge anymore. So I still have them going 8-4. That's still a good record, but
Hmm.
it's under their win total, and
For
it's
sure.
definitely not as successful as they're used to, and probably as they're wanting slash expecting to be. So, yeah, that's
Yeah,
Utah
well,
for me.
dude, and then on top of that, yeah, like they're out of conference. They play Arkansas, which I think will be
Yep.
solid. SEC is always solid, and then they have, um, you know, Houston, Cincinnati will be solid. Arizona's gonna be solid. BYU, TCU, like that.
Yeah.
They don't have an easy schedule by any means, so it'll
No.
be interesting. But yeah, the new head coach situation is gonna be rough. So
Yeah. And then moving on to the last team that we have to cover, West Virginia.
hmm
Their line's set at 5.5 wins. I have notable players for them as Cam Cook, the transfer from I believe it was Jacksonville State.
yep, running back.
Really, really productive, unbelievably productive, man. Um, and their quarterback is Michael Hawkins. He was the backup at Oklahoma who
hmm
started for them when why am I blanking? Quarterback Oklahoma
Um,
starting QB.
Mateer.
John Mateer. When he was out with his hand injury,
Yep,
Hawkins stepped in. He's more of a rushing threat. He's kind of a dual threat.
for
Struggles a
sure.
little bit of as a passer, but um, I think this is a really good pickup for them.
Yeah,
Actually, he's
I
my
agree.
breakout player. I think he fits into their system like excellently, and I think the kind of dual run threat that they can have between Cam Cook and Michael
Absolutely.
Hawkins, I'm
It could be
excited for it,
dangerous.
man. I think it could be really dangerous. Coach Rich Rod, kind of the same thing as Scott Frost. Had success with WVU a long time ago. Went elsewhere, but then has come back, and man, he
Yep,
loves the transfer portal. I mean, I think
he
like
does.
almost all the starters on their defense are. It's pretty much retooled every year.
For sure.
Obviously, the two players we highlighted in Cook and Hawkins were both transfers. And honestly, I'm excited with this rushing threat. I
Yeah.
actually, I'm a lot more optimistic than I feel like a lot of people are about West Virginia. And I'm interested to see what you think about them because it feels like you're kind of maybe agreeing with that sentiment. So, what do you think about West Virginia?
Yeah, man. Last season, 4-8, 66.3 team grade. Not a great season overall for them.
Mm-hmm.
It was Rich's first season back, head
Yep.
coaching. So again, a little bit of a learning curve there. And then on top of that, they lose Nico Marchiol, their starting quarterback, and then wide receiver Cam Vaughn, running back Dior Hubbard, defensive lineman Hammond Russell. Defensive back Dwayne Galloway Jr., and then linebacker Mike Hasty, and then a few more outgoing transfers. So they lost a decent amount of their starting squad. But then, to replace that, they bring in Michael Hawkins, who also is my breakout player for them. So we
Nice.
agreed on two players this video, which I think is less than the ACC video, but that's
I
fine.
think we had three, maybe.
I think we
Yeah.
had three in the ACC video, but yeah, Michael Hawkins, I really just liked. I mean, his true freshman year at Oklahoma, he had 160 dropbacks. He played a solid amount. And this season against Kent State, I know it's Kent State, but he came in and threw 3 touchdowns as a backup,
Yeah.
which, like, he's showing that he can throw the ball, he can run. And then,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, with Cam Cook, they're going to be a dynamic rushing threat. Um, and then they also bring in wide receivers Prince Stockton and DJ Epps for targets for Hawkins, along with edge Zeke Durham Campbell, defensive tackle KJ Henson, and then true freshman 4-star safety Matt Sieg. So he will probably be a starter. And then 3 more starting DBs in the transfer portal. This is a win total that I'm kind of back and forth on, 5.5. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not quite sure where I land. I think when I look at their schedule, and they have Virginia, Oklahoma State, Cincinnati, Arizona, TCU, Texas Tech, Houston, Utah. I think I'm going to take the under by a half a game. I'm just not
Mm,
super optimistic about the schedule that they have, but I'm not at all discounting them going over. I actually think they could very easily go over this win total. I'm just a little bit more on the safe side. I think I'm going to have them go 5-7. They're still kind of rebuilding, so we'll see. Maybe they'll really surprise me, and I would actually like to see that because, like you said, I think this dynamic with Cam Cook and Michael Hawkins will be really interesting. But yeah, I
yeah.
think I'm gonna err on the side of caution for this team, and I'm gonna say they increase their win total from last year by 1 win, and they improve a little bit. But I think they're gonna be a feisty 5-7 win team.
Okay. Yeah. So, for me, I have this is our first like big disagreement.
Okay.
This was the team I was talking about that I thought you wouldn't like that I think
Mm-hmm.
I do. I have them going 8-4.
Okay.
I think they go over. I think they obviously lose to maybe some of the top teams that you brought up. I do see the variance in their team. I have their floor as 3-9. I get
Yeah,
it. Like I 100%. This could be bad. But I think their ceiling is 10-2. Like that's how much I like this
that's
team.
fair.
I think they
Yeah.
lose to Tech and then drop a game, and that's how much I like this team. Rich Rod, I believe 4-8 was the worst season that West Virginia's had or something for like a very long time. And the last time that they went 4-8 was Rich Rod's first season
Oh yeah.
with them. And then his second season, they immediately clicked and started getting way better. And
Mm-hmm.
I just think this was kind of like a learning year for him. Not like a learning year, but kind of like a breaking in
A
year.
readjustment. Yeah.
Yeah, readjustment. And this year, I think he's gonna be a lot more comfortable. I just think Cam Cook. I think Cam Cook's so good, so underrated, so productive. I love this. I think Michael Hawkins, like, man, I think he should have went and started in like the SEC. Like
Yeah.
that's how much I liked him. I think with good development, Michael Hawkins could have been like a lot
I
better
think
than
he
he's
is
given
good.
credit for. And I think he
Yeah.
goes to WVU. And dude, there's a chance that he's the best quarterback in this division. I actually think that. I mean, I think it's probably hard that he to play over like Fafita
Mm.
and maybe Avery Johnson because they're just so smart and the floor is so high. But I think the ceiling with Hawkins might be higher than anybody in this
Yeah,
division. Like
that's fair.
I think that. Um, so for me, it's like I think it's honestly, I think it's fair to say that they're going 8-4. I'm taking the over for them. And they're kind of the team that I'm like putting all the cards on the table for. I like this team. I'm gonna
Okay.
call my shot with West Virginia.
All right.
But yeah, that wraps up every team. We have covered every Big 12 team, and now all that's left is our offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, and our title conference game.
Yes, sir.
So what do you want to start with? You want to start with offensive player of the year?
Yeah.
Should we try and guess each other's? Maybe that would be a little fun.
I am doing this on the fly, so I kind of got to decide low key.
Okay, so would I guess you want to try and guess mine, but I guess we're trying to find yours at the same time, so it's like
Uh, for what
I have
offensive?
two offensive. There's one I'm shouting out, and then there's one that I am like definitively picking.
Who am I thinking?
But so if you get either of them,
Are you
I
gonna
would
say
be
Cam Cook?
no. But he'd be top 5 for me, so that's not a bad guess. Um, Mine's LJ Martin.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Man, I loved him. I thought he had first round potential written all over him. I think he's really good. I think BYU's going to rely on him. There's no reason he doesn't have 1,000 rushing yards. The other one I want to shout
Yeah.
out is Houston wide receiver Amari Thomas.
Yeah.
I think their offense is just going to be firing on all cylinders this year, man. Like really, and I
That's
think he was so
completely
damn
valid.
good last year. And I think Wigman's going to get better. I think Willie Fritz is only going to get smarter and better as a coach. I think their O line's going to get better. They even brought guys in where it's like I think maybe Mekhi Hughes gets some looks, and it's like now the box can maybe be loaded at times. I really think Amari Thomas could have a really good season this year.
Yeah.
But did you find somebody that you?
I mean, this might be basic for offensive player of the year. I'm gonna go Drew Mestamaker.
Okay, yeah,
I just really believe in Drew Mestamaker. I think he's going to elevate this Oklahoma State team to a new level that they have not seen in years. And with the weapons around him, like Wyatt Young, and I'm blanking on the names. Why am I tweaking? Caleb Hawkins, and the guy you shouted out.
Nick Bowick.
Justin Bowick. Yeah, I just think he has the weapons around him.
Justin Bowick.
I'm pretty sure it's
Justin Bowick, sorry.
Justin Bowick.
Justin Bowick. Yeah.
I just think Drew Mestamaker is going to be the best quarterback in the Big 12 this year. That's my bold prediction.
Call
You
your
just had
shot.
yours
Call your
with West
shot. Yeah.
Virginia. I'm calling my shot with Drew Mestemaker. I think he's going to be the best arm talent in the Big 12, the best quarterback. So yeah, I'm going to take him as my offensive player of the year, which might be a little bit of a settle as taking a quarterback, but I think that highly of Drew Mestemaker.
No, that's
But
fair.
defensive player of the year.
Man, I think it's just throw a dart at any one of Tech's players.
Yeah, yeah.
Just throw a dart at someone on their starting
I'm gonna
defense.
guess that yours is Bryce Pollock.
Yeah, it's basic, but man, I love this
Yeah.
guy.
No, that's
If I
completely
had to
valid.
say somebody not Pollock, funnily enough, it'd probably be Austin Romaine. Like actually,
Yeah, that's fair.
maybe even
I mean, if he is
Ibaroka.
if he's Jacob Rodriguez 2.0, he is easily the best player.
I do want to shout out. Let me look. I want to shout out some. Oh, I'll shout out Wendell Gregory, the transfer
Okay.
from
Yeah.
Oklahoma
Yeah.
State to K State.
Valid.
Just to not cop out with the easy Texas Tech, man. Their defense is always good. But
Yeah.
Bryce Pollock, if you want to shout out that's not him, Romaine. And then if you want someone that's not Tech, I'll shout out Wendell Gregory. I think all those
Yeah.
guys are in for big years.
That's
what
valid.
about you, though?
Yeah, I mean, going basic, I would say like same as you, Bryce Pollock, but I don't want to go basic. If I'm staying with Texas Tech, not basic, I'm saying Adam Trick. I think he could be David Bailey 2.0.
Okay, that's your guy.
But
Yep.
if I'm not going Texas Tech at all, I'm going to say Valatau Satuala. I
from
really,
BYU.
really
That's a
like
really
him
good
from
pick.
BYU. I think
Yeah.
he's a great, strong safety. Great size, great build. My biggest thing with him is he just had injury concerns recently, so I really need him to get over that. But big fan. I think he could be a top 4 safety in this class, maybe even top 3. So that'll be really interesting to watch. But yeah, Satuala would be my non-Texas Tech pick.
All right, and then for the conference title game, man, who you got in it, and then who do you have winning?
I mean, I'm going to have Tech in it for sure. Tech
For
is
sure.
definitely the best team in the Big 12 by far, but I want to have a fun pick for my other one.
TCU?
I'm going to go TCU. I think it's going to
Nice,
be
I
TCU
like it.
versus Texas Tech. I'm a big fan of this TCU squad. I'm going to say Texas Tech wins, but I could see TCU putting up a great fight. And honestly, I could see TCU like being like borderline college football playoff. I really, really like TCU. I think they could jump up to like the mid-teens for rankings towards the end of the season, which would put them close to college football playoff. I don't think they're going to make it per se, but I just think they're going to surprise a lot of people. I really like the situation they're in. I'm going to say TCU.
Jaden Craig season, baby.
Jaden Craig season, baby. Jaden Craig, he's smart. He's from Harvard, bro. He's got to be.
He has to be. Yeah.
But I'm going to say TCU loses to Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship. And yeah, I would not be surprised if Tech is a top 6 seed in the college football playoff. They're really good, man. I don't know. Yeah.
For sure. I have Texas Tech as one of them. My other team is going to be Houston. They're just my second favorite team here. I think they're so good. I think their offense could be the best in the Big 12. I do have Texas Tech winning, but honestly, I think it's going to be way closer.
Yeah.
I think Houston's offense, I think it's a 60-40 game. I think it's almost 50-50. I'd still give the edge to Tech. I'm a little hesitant to say that their defense is going to be as good as last year. I think it has the potential to. I think it'll probably be worse at the end of the day. But, man, as long as Will Hammond just plays average, this team should win the conference.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, Houston, they definitely have a shot, and I'm shutting them out. I think they're going to be the second best team in the Big 12. And if they're good enough and they keep Tech close, then there's an argument that both these teams should make the college football playoff if they're in the conference title.
I honestly, if I had to pick my top 3 teams, I'm going Houston, TCU, and Texas Tech. Those are probably my top 3 teams.
That's who would be my third team. It would probably be who would be highest.
Are you throwing West Virginia in there?
No. It would be Houston's 10-2, and then the second highest team I have that's not Tech or them in terms of my predictive record. BYU's at 9-3, and then is there anyone else that has 9 wins? No, but then if I had to pick somebody I liked, it would actually probably be West Virginia would probably be my 4.
Okay.
I like them more than any of my other 8-win teams. But yeah, Texas Tech versus Houston with Texas Tech winning. We both have Tech in it. Let's hope they're in it. Otherwise, we're gonna both look like idiots. But,
I would be
um,
floored if they weren't, honestly.
yeah,
But
me too, man. A lot would have to go wrong. But yeah, anyways, that is our Big 12 video, guys. It's a
yep.
long video, a little over 2 hours, I think. Thank you
Yes,
guys
sir.
for tuning in, sticking if you watched the whole thing. I think it's actually a better conference than people give it credit for. I think
I
it
do too.
actually is pretty decent. I went through it and I was like, damn, there's actually
I
some good teams
I
in this
think there's some
conference.
low lows and some high highs. That's what I would
Yes, I would agree. A lot more balance in the ACC, but I
for
think
sure.
next video will be Big Ten.
Hmm.
And then the SEC, saving the best for last,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
Alabama, but
Yeah, bro.
no, yeah, we're gonna try and hit you guys with both those videos soon,
Yep.
and we just really appreciate you watching this. This is
Absolutely,
really
man.
fun. I love doing this.
I love this too,
I
bro.
really
This
have
is
fun with this. So
yeah. I've loved the change of pace from doing summer
yeah, me
scouting to
too.
doing this. And yeah, I'm gonna have the ACC video out tomorrow. I mean, you guys won't know the days, but tomorrow is
Yeah.
Friday. I will have it out tomorrow, and then I'm hoping to have this video out the next day. So we're gonna have back-to-back videos.
Oh,
Hopefully,
nice. Okay.
I'll edit these down a little bit so they're not quite over 2 hours. So it'll be a little bit more watchable for you guys. But we really do appreciate you guys watching all the way through. If you did, it's been really fun talking and going through the Big 12 and the ACC earlier this week. Just fun to go through the conferences, and it makes me even more excited for college football to start and to watch every single
Yeah,
game
me
because
too.
I'm going to watch every single Power Four game
Yep.
now because I'm invested in the teams. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, it's going to be fun. Me and Cam are excited. Hopefully, going to watch some football together. And yeah, guys, this is the Neutral Zone. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you in the next one.